The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever.
That's what you did.
The realest
Yeah, I'm sitting here fighting with this mic like that. I need a damn Allen wrench. Matt fixes the mic for me, and the shit just slowly shifts down again anyway.
No, you wouldn't need an Allen wrench. You just need a regular wrench.
Like a small wrench.
The little connect set wrenches.
Yeah, a little tiny wrench.
Yeah, Allen. No, I'm thinking of Allen key. That's the same thing as Allen wrench.
Same shit as an Allen wrench.
No, Allen key wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I need a wrench. Period. Rose Podcast Hour, episode 100.
I don't know what happens when we leave.
Chaos, apparently.
Yo, it's like, what do they be doing in here when we leave?
Madness, apparently. The Realest Podcast Ever, episode 137, is that correct? 137?
37.
I'm your boy C. Diddy.
I'm at. Oh, I thought it was going to be more than that. I'm so used to, I'm C. Diddy, a.k.a. the Brown Bomber, some weird shit. I thought it was going to be more to that.
That Peach Poppy and Black Hammer episode went hard.
Yeah, it did.
Lot of views and downloads.
Our last episode got a lot of traction and responses. And
people like when we have something responsible to say. Apparently,
I want to do it again.
Oh, y'all talk about adult shit. Oh, oh, y'all like that? Okay, all right. So you don't want to just hear about 6ix9ine and shit like that.
Yeah.
But good looking. Yeah, we got some intelligent young ladies gonna be joining us on the show here in a little bit. The two Alyshas. We're gonna be talking about entrepreneurship
today.
Yeah, I told you that a week ago.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's today. It's in the rundown, too.
I would have put on pants. Well, not saying I don't have on pants, but I have on. I'm going
to put on full pants.
I'm going to the gym. I didn't think it was like a thing. I have on with ball shorts and tee. I didn't think it was a thing.
They're friends of the show, so they ain't tripping about it.
Who are they?
Alysha Roebuck that works for Nielsen. I told you this days ago.
You told me a lot of shit. It'd be so much.
We've had a lot of conversations last week.
Yeah, me and Chad, we're going through it right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Alysha Roebuck and
the other Alysha, I don't know her last name, but she owns the kitty spa. They did an ad with us a couple months ago.
Oh,
yeah.
you did mention this.
Yes,
right. Absolutely.
Glossed over that.
There's a lot going on.
It was a hazy weekend. It was ice. It was ice. It was snow. It was all type of shit. So
that ice shit was crazy.
Yo, listen, I drove in it to New York, my nigga.
Listen. I saw people falling left and right downtown the other night. So I was at where's Capitol Grove? Broad and Chestnut?
Yeah, Broad and Chestnut.
Main man comes across the street and he's like jogging. And I like blow the horn.
Don't do it.
Because he about to go up on the curb and I'm just like, family, I'm done. And he ran up on the curb and I'm talking about he slipped and fell. And he like rolled over. His whole ass came out of his pants. I was just like, I don't know if his pants exploded. I was like, I don't know what's happening. But main man, whole ass cheeks was out
there was
in front of Capitol Grill.
There was a fall compilation on Hip Hop since 1987. They had 10 videos with all of the worst falls from the weekend. And I saw one where it was like a white girl coming out of her crib it was like a wooden porch. And she come out the crib, she slipped, go right down the stairs.
Yo.
Then her boyfriend come out to try to save her, and he go right down.
The other night when it started icing up, I pulled up to whatever the fuck that little block is, right before Ridge on Manayunk, and a white lady was stepping off, and I pulled up to the street so that she wouldn't be on the curb. Because a lot of people don't realize this. I did a whole IG story about it the other night. Walk in the street. You know, the cars running the street, so the heat is wearing down the ice. But the curb where it's nothing,
it's going down,
and if there's no salt, it's all ice. So I pulled up past the curb to the street so that she could just step out into the street. She went to step up on the curb. I'm watching like, this is about to be terrible. Both her legs went out and she on her back. She turned over her shoulder. I was like, you okay? She was like, just go ahead. Just go. I was like, you sure? She was like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Holy shit, man.
People was breaking their necks left and right. JT took a nasty John. He had it on his page.
Yeah, that's bad, man. But I drove in that shit to New York on Saturday night. I'm driving and I'm like, it's like, it's like misting or whatever at that point. And then as I get into New Jersey, my windshield like just starts turning white.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this like snow residue or like salt residue from the trucks, or is this ice? And then as my whole windshield is covered in one sheet, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is ice. I got to turn the fucking defroster on. I'm out the window like Ace Ventura on the goddamn highway. It was a bad jaw. So I had to drive up and back in that shit.
Did you see Dallas by any chance?
No.
Dallas was like a 900 car pileup. Did you see that? That shit was insanity.
Holy shit. How did I miss that?
Yeah.
I saw that they closed the bridge, I think, in Alabama. If the bridge froze and people said, man, they went around the barricades and got on the icy bridge and are banging out.
Dallas was nuts. Are you about to say something?
They said they had a historic winter storm coming 2 days ago.
Yeah.
In all Dallas, so.
Damn.
God knows the last time they had snow.
But it was only like 2 inches of snow. That was the crazy part, wasn't it?
On the first day, yeah, but I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I think it got up to like 5 or something like that.
For them, that's a lot.
That's like...
But you had to see the video. Like, it was an 18-wheeler, like on like 60 miles an hour running in. No, I'm not joking. Like, multiple people died and all that shit. It was nuts.
Shit.
Last night at the Mavericks game, the announcer was saying we want to thank all the people who actually came out tonight to the games. We know how, the snowstorm, whatever.
Yeah, and it's like they don't sell 4-wheel drive vehicles down there because they don't need them.
And he was like, it's not a lot of snow, but just for down here. Remember that inch of snow shut down Georgia?
Yeah, I was about to talk about it. It was like 1.5 inches. They shut the whole state down.
Emergency. No, we out here for Corona, but this inch of snow, fuck this. But yeah, Dallas, you had to see the video, that fucking 18-wheeler was doing like 60 miles an hour, and I mean ran clean in the parked cars because it couldn't stop. And I've been in a situation like that. Yeah. I drove a truck and I pulled into the Walmart. This is when I was dedicated to Walmart. I pulled into the Walmart out York, PA, and the whole parking lot was ice, and I just started sliding, and it's like, you don't realize how big an 18-wheeler is
till you can't
control it. The steering wheel is doing nothing, and you just like, I'm getting out. You're like, fuck all this. Like,
tuck and roll at this point.
And I basically I was sliding into the Walmart. I'm gonna hit the Walmart. So in front of the Walmart, it's always those cages with the blue Rhino, the propane drones. I'm like, this is how it is. Okay. And at the last second, I jackknifed and I went into the garden center. So I took out the whole garden. Like, I drove through the garden center. It was crazy as fuck. Cops and rescue. It was nuts. And the cop was just like, dude, like, how the fuck did you not hit the front? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just like, I have no clue.
Yeah, we would have been wearing a matte T-shirt right now had it gone a different way.
The shit wound up being like, I think it was like $92,000 worth of damage and shit. Like, it was crazy as fuck. It was nuts. It was all on the news and everything. It was this shit was wild.
Like, let's interview the driver. You're like, nah, I'm good. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Like, dog. That shit was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, my man, C, shout out C, my childhood homie, he jackknifed and flipped the 18-wheeler over. He flipped the jump.
Whoa.
Yeah, like upside down flipped the jump.
That's bad, man.
Yeah, like, and them trucks, they so big and they so heavy. When you get to where like out middle of the country, like the flatlands and shit like that, the wind get real bad.
Right.
Like, you coming through like Nebraska, Cheyenne, Wyoming, all that shit. They have like wind advisories to where it's like if you got an empty trailer, you're not even allowed to get on the highway. Because the wind will catch the wall of the trailer. Hey. And I know a motherfucker who that happened to. Like, he was driving along the highway, the wind caught the trailer. And if the trailer is empty, it's essentially just a wall.
Yeah.
And the wind straight, like, flipped this truck while he was riding. He's like, dude, we was doing, him and his, they do teams. He's like, me and my partner, we was doing like 45 miles an hour. And you could feel the wind. Like, you could feel just how the tension from it. He's like, we caught a strong gust and literally flipped to the side.
Damn.
I'm like, yeah, that's scary as shit. Like, them storms, they no joke, man.
Yeah, seriously, man.
No joke.
Yeah, man. Everybody out there in the Dallas area, man, y'all be careful. Slow down. If you don't gotta go nowhere, get off the road. Same thing, Alabama. Get off the roads, man, and stop going around that barricade on that bridge. Y'all gonna end up way worse for wear than trying to get wherever you going. Man.
One thing I noticed the other night is no matter how bad a storm is, no matter how bad things are, excuse me, people are coming outside.
Oh yeah,
they're outside.
Motherfuckers don't care, and the biggest thing is people just don't respect the weather conditions violations, number one. And then number two, they don't understand the status that their vehicle is in. Like, there's always a motherfucker in a Nissan Sentra or Toyota Corolla doing 77 miles an hour.
Dog, the nigga the other night came ripping around the bus. I'm talking about flying. He was damn near going sideways. Do you know what he was driving? A Toyota Tercel. I'm like, what the fuck makes you want to go that fast in a Tercel?
This car won't go in you if you get into an accident.
Like, dog, it's a two-door. Like a little two-door. Remember I was telling you about the shit the other night on 676 with the Crown Vics?
Oh.
Somebody was actually filming the shit. Remember I was like, I'm coming down 676. It was a mess. And you get up there, you see a bunch of smashed up Crown Victorias. I'm just
Nigga
like,
tried to drift on 676.
I don't know if he lost control or what, but it's just like, dog. Like, that shit was on 911 Philly. And it's just like, yeah, man, like, them accidents, them shits is no joke. And I saw, like, no bullshit, 40 accidents the other night. Friday night, Saturday night, it was just accidents every fucking where.
Damn.
All over the fucking place. And I'm just like, dog, like, why are y'all even out
Yeah,
this
when I came back from New York, I'm like, I'm breathing a sigh of relief once I get back. Then I'm in Roxborough. You can literally, soon as I got on Ridge Avenue off of 76, I could see the ice all the way up Ridge Avenue, the whole fucking way. And I'm just like, so no salt truck came at all?
So I'm coming up, coming off the expressway to Wissahickon Transfer Center. You know where the big hill is?
Yes.
Where the train center? Mm-hmm. The city was out there putting salt down with shovels. I was like, this city is just, we got to get out of here. This is just ridiculous. Like,
Y'all not even trying no more.
Like, there was no salt truck. They had the motherfuckers out there, but they was like scooping shovels
just
of
throwing the salt
out of like big buckets of salt and putting it on the street. And I'm just like, wow.
It's like you're in a fucking apartment complex. Like, this is how you gonna take care of the city, right? With shovels and buckets.
I slid bad as shit when I came home. I got off Saturday, well, going into Sunday at midnight.
Yeah.
And I drove home. The drive home was cool. I got to my car. They super salted around my depot, so all that shit was straight. The roads, you figure I jumped right on 76 right off.
Yeah.
When I got to my spot, I pulled onto the street, and it's funny because I was on the phone with Jules. Jules had called me, so I'm on the phone with him like on the Bluetooth shit, and he was like, "Yo, what's work looking like?" I'm like, "Nigga, I'm damn near home." He was like, "What?" I was like, "I get off earlier on Saturday or whatever." So he's like, "Okay." So we start talking about some sneaker shit, and as I'm riding, and I start sliding as I came off of the main street onto the street that doesn't get access that much. I started sliding sideways as I was turning into the development. So I'm sliding sideways, and he talking. I'm like, "Oh man!" And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm about to hit something." He was like, "What?" I'm like, "Dog, I'm sliding sideways." He was like, "Well, stop the car." I'm like, "Nigga,
you think I wouldn't do it if that was a fucking option? What are you talking about?
I'm like, "Nigga, I'm not trying to slide. What the fuck are you talking about?" So I almost hit the car right at the entrance of the complex. So I basically, this is the entrance. Like, these are the parked cars.
Yeah.
This is the entrance. This is me coming down. As I'm turning in, I just start sliding sideways. And I slide past the cars. Like, I'm watching the cars go past me as I'm sliding. So when I come to a stop, I'm right here. Like, I'm looking dead into this car's driver's window. I'm just like, how did I not hit this shit?
Yeah.
So I put my shit in reverse, back up. I come into the complex. As I come into the first lot, I start sliding down that shit. And I'm just like, oh man, the lot is all ice.
Yeah.
So I take it real slow around the next turn, real slow around the next turn. I start sliding coming into my cul-de-sac. So I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm just like, fuck it. I pull up to the first spot I see. Now, normally I'll back up to like these spots over here, but I just pulled right up to the fucking island and just like, I just want to stop the car.
It's a wreck.
So as I stopped the car, Jules was like, he's like, "Where'd you park?" I'm like, "I just parked at the island. Like, I just had to get the car stopped. So I'll just walk, a further distance." He was like, "But if the lot is all ice, now you have to walk on it." I'm like, shit. Fuck. You got a good point. Dog, I'm talking about I opened the door and put my feet down. It was like you was on a skating rink.
Slip and slide records.
So I basically backed my car up again, came down a little further, and I backed into. That's something I kind of peeped the other day. On the ice shit, going reverse is actually easier to.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's wild. So I backed my way through the lot to the spot that I wanted to be in, which was right up against the grass. Because when you get to the grass, you're good. So I backed up against that, but as I went to step out, the lot is literally like you can't even get a footing because it's ice. My man, he lived a couple of Jones down, he pulled up. He got like a little Audi, the little S4 or whatever. Yeah. He pulled up and he parked. I'm like, please don't hit my car. Please don't hit my car. And he pulled up and parked. So he jumped out the car and started walking around the back. And I was like, oh shit, it must be dry right there. Yeah. And I looked down and I looked back and couldn't see him. And I was like, damn, he made it in the crib already? And then I see him climbing up from the trunk. I'm like, oh, he busted his ass. I was like, that's where the fuck you went. So he looked over at me, he was like, man, this shit all ice. I'm like, you didn't peep that when you were sliding in the fucking complex? It took me a good 10 minutes to get the fuck out the car.
Terrible.
That shit was all
Saturday
ice,
was a bad joint.
It was all ice.
It was very, very bad.
I did not fall, though. So I felt, happy about that.
What was interesting when I finally did get home, when I finally got up fucking Valley Forge and shit, was no ice nowhere.
I peeped that when I was up Plymouth meeting, it was no ice. It was all Center City and below.
It was nothing.
Like all up Andorra, White Marsh, all that shit was, I got off the bus and walked into the mall. It was nothing on the ground. But as you got closer and closer to downtown, and once you got down there, it was icy to the motherfucker.
Yeah, the city was very, very bad, man. Yeah. Before our guests get here, I'm not they were supposed to be here at 1:30, whatever. They may or may not be here already. We can knock out some of these topics before we get into our main conversation for today. Did you catch Meek and Daniel?
I think everybody caught it.
It's literally the talk of the internet right now.
Rap is strange.
We talked about it on Saturday. It's literally like the equivalent of being in a cartoon.
Yeah,
like none of it. It's no plot. It's no storyline. It doesn't really make much sense. It's just entertaining.
Like Meek could have hit him in the head with an anvil and he wouldn't have died. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how cartoonish this shit is.
Like, can you imagine you coming out from having a nice dinner or wherever the hell he was, and then Danny pops out.
Then he at a concert.
Yeah, Danny pops out from in between two cars and starts spitting Pooh Shiesty lines at you. Like it's
but
the weirdest
allegedly
shit.
Meek spat on him.
Yeah, allegedly.
In the
But my thing is, if he spit on you and y'all didn't get it popping, what was the point of waiting outside the club?
Because I don't got my phone. So.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
My phone is in the car. This is the rematch. It's like with fucking.
This is the rematch. You think I'm gonna let you beat on my big brother? This is the rematch.
Fucking deep, fucking sticky fingers.
Niggas came out of a dog catcher truck. This is the rematch.
Ridiculous. Like it was literally it looked scripted. It was so crazy. Like, and my favorite part of it, Meek just looked so confused.
Meek was dressed exactly how I would be dressed if I had $25 million.
They said he was dressed like Poppy from Holly Questionable.
That's exactly how I would be dressed. So
like he just looked so confused. Like, wait, what? Like I'm getting pressed by a rat. Like, yes, you are. Welcome to 2021, baby. A rat with a beard implant is pressing you outside of a concert. This shit is terrible. Okay, it was like Danny got a beard implant and dyed his hair back black and forgot he was a bitch and just started bugging the fuck out.
I would get one of them the Q from Juices.
What?
The Raheem from Juice?
Yeah.
The little John? I would get one. I wanted to do be funny, do a YouTube video, but they're $1,000. So I'm not paying for that.
You're going to have to rock that if you...
Yeah, I gotta wear it.
Like, so how long these last? How long these Jones last,
Taking
man?
your shit to the cleaners and every fucking thing else. But I would do it to be funny on some YouTube shit for the YouTube channel. Meek has a very interesting rap career.
Yeah, you got in depth on this yesterday. Do you want to expound for the audience?
It's like Meek is going to go into, I don't know if he's going to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or maybe Guinness Book of World Records, maybe even Ripley's Believe It or Not. Something. You know
maybe all three.
Maybe all three. Meek's career is insane because it's like he was branded as the face of criminal reform.
Yes.
To have a known federal informant run up on you.
the face of criminal
reform and call you all kinds of bitches and tell you how I got the strap on me.
He said, I got my own fight. I don't need security in the club.
Is why it's just some Meek shit. Like Meek's the only person that could happen to.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not happening to like Roddy Ricch or 21 Savage.
You see what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, like Meek's a legend, but not really. He's a great rapper, but not really.
Yeah.
Then he has like this wonderful career, but not really.
It's like a lot of black eyes.
Like he's the first rapper from Philly outside of like Will and Eve and them to be like #1 albums, you know, multi-platinum records and all of this shit. And he's on the Forbes list. I don't think anybody like Beans, none of that. I don't even think Eve was doing that.
He got a single from his last album that sold 6 million units.
But then on the flip side, he goes to jail for riding a bike. And yeah, it just be like stupid shit that just, I don't know what, like, we talk about all the time. He has the ability to be Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And it
was two people that had the next Jay-Z thing lined up for him. It was him and J. Cole.
Right.
Because it's a stature thing that goes along with your rhyming ability and all of that in order to be Jay-Z. J. Cole decided he wanted to be Father Africa. He went a different direction. And J. Cole is still fucking amazing and one of my favorite artists.
You know what I watched if you think about it? The episode of A Different World when Dwayne ran into the wedding.
Oh, man.
Have you seen that episode well enough?
Yeah.
Remember the boy Cree was dating with the dreads and all that? And I was like, man, boy got the J. Cole whole shit going in that episode.
It's like, man, J. Cole stole my man whole swag.
Yo, real talk. He came in and was like, yeah, even though I'm against all this bouginess and all this overly shown wealth, I will admit it's pretty fly in here. Like he was funny as shit on there. But like, it was Cole and it was
Cole and it was Meek. And then once Cole went a different direction and carved his own path and wanted to be an activist and rap about different stuff and this and this, after that first album, boom, he took himself out of the conversation. So now it's Meek. You literally got the perfect setup. You signed to Ross, you deeply affiliated with Puff, and your management is Jay-Z. It's all there. It's all there for you. But at some point, you just started to either hold on to shit you didn't need to hold on to, or affiliate yourself with shit you didn't need to, or have conversations with people you shouldn't have been talking to, and it convinced you, let's jump off a cliff. Let's go at the biggest artist in the world and the biggest person that you have at your disposal to help you because he didn't show up at your concert for free in Philadelphia.
Right.
We're from Philadelphia and don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
To think that Drake is firing up the jet to come to Philadelphia for a random Saturday in March, you're bugging.
I will say this about Meek because I'm a Meek fan. I've said it before. I think his intro is the best intro in rap history. I really appreciate how he clawed back.
Yes.
Because I said it. I thought he was done. I honestly figured it was like, oh, people going to be past him. Yeah, people going to be past caring about, because he was with Nicki Minaj. And let's keep it a bean. I know y'all hate her. She was the biggest female artist on the earth.
I got a theory about Nicki Minaj, too.
She still is one of the biggest female artists on earth. She is the biggest ever as far as the rap game is concerned. Yeah. She's the most successful. We're not even going to debate it. He was with her, signed to Jay, and Drake they was friends. They was homies. You got this diss track from the Drake situation. You and Nicki broke up. You wasn't on Twitter for 6 months. It was just like, what more could possibly? Then you ended up in jail where you can't do nothing, no appearances, no. I just was like, it's over for me.
Yeah.
And to see him come back was just like, damn. To come back with championships, it was just like, oh shit.
And through that Drake situation, the most bizarre moment, he got so frustrated. He took the bait on the AR Ab situation and was like, fuck AR Ab in front of a pink stage. It was the strangest shit of all time. And I'm just like, this is bad.
Yeah. Like, I honestly just didn't think he was, once all of that shit, like the culmination of everything, I was just like, no. So to see him get back, it's like, damn, then you get out of jail. the Sixers embrace you the way they do with Michael Rubin. You ringing the bell and shit the night you get out. Like, it was like movie shit. It was like some fucking Batman shit. Like, you got released from jail, got picked up from a helicopter, and ended up at a Sixer game ringing the bell. Like, the whole everything came behind you. Then they make you the face of criminal reform, which is as ridiculous as everything has been with the unfair treatment between police and the citizens, with the criminal justice system and prisoners and just everything. You become the face of that. Then you drop championships, and it's like, oh shit. Meek did it.
Yeah, you bet.
You make the Forbes list, 20 million. It's like, God damn, that's what's up.
Invest in lids.
You had the shit with Ethica, even though that went completely left. You had
the Ethica shit went so left.
The Ethica shit went so left. But it's like, you had the Puma deal. You had it just everything was, it happened and it went well. And it just, at times for me, it just be like, yo, with these stupid ass situations, it's like, why him? Like, why? Like, what the fuck did 6ix9ine jump out? Why? Like, and that's where I'm just like, if that shit is true with the whole spitting on him shit, it's just like,
you incited a unnecessary
situation.
You
see where I'm getting at with this? It's like, all right, now we passed the whole him running up and y'all with the cameras and all that goofy shit.
Yeah.
Now it's like, why did this happen?
Let's
it's
get
like,
into the why of it.
It's like, did 6ix9ine just jump out on you on something? He trying to sell his documentary on Showtime shit, and then they put out like, oh, he spit on him in the fucking Thug concert, and it's just like, so why'd you spit on the man?
Yeah, because the thing is, the rule in the streets is if you ain't gonna really do nothing to a rat, you supposed to ignore him. So the simple fact that you incited a situation, like, what did you think was gonna happen next? You thought it was just over? Like, I guess he thought it was over or whatever, but there's no footage of the spitting incident and what happened in.
Like, we don't even know if that really happened.
Exactly.
So it's like, that could be a lie, and that's where it's just like, this shit is like Macho Man promos. You see what I'm saying?
It's like when the Superpowers broke up, Macho Man and Hogan.
Remember that? You ever seen the one with the creamers?
No.
You ever seen that? Oh my God, I don't see how. That's it.
TRPE video time.
Dog, anybody watching this shit, if you get a chance, Macho Man got the best promos in rap history. Hands down. Fucking Macho Man, because Macho Man was on coke.
Yeah.
Like, he was on raw coke.
Yeah, they literally said he was like that all the time. Like, he was always high strung.
Like for you to like do that shit just on the strength, that's drug addict shit.
They said he walked around in a continual state of paranoia.
Macho Man, like Mean G, like, we got Macho Man here. He's facing Hulk Hogan this Sunday for the World Championship belt. How do you feel about it? Well, let me tell you something, Mean G. Like, just to be able to do that shit whenever, like, just on demand, you got to be on coke. It's a joint. It's called Macho Man, the cream of the crop. And he was talking about him being the cream of the crop. And he kept pulling little coffee creamers out. I
don't know how I've never seen.
Dog, the nigga was pulling coffee creamers out, and he put the creamer on top of his head and was talking about, I'm the cream of the fucking crop. I don't see how. No, if you've never seen this shit, I'm gonna just play a second of it so y'all can get a gist of what I'm saying. Go pause this shit and go type in Macho Man cream of the crop on YouTube.
Michigan. It's a day that I'm certain my guest at this time will not forget. I'm talking about the former Intercontinental Champion of the world, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream rises to the top, oh yeah.
He was hiding like he had a beat. He froze it, right?
And President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah, I know. Let me tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation.
Is that a turtleneck t-shirt you got on?
I'm happy with your decision, yeah. I am the cream of the World Wrestling Federation. And there is no doubt about it, yeah. You, Mean Gene Okerlund, you know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Wait a minute, though, Randy. I've got to ask you very seriously. Do you blame Mr. Jack Tunney, the distinguished president of the World Wrestling Federation, for Ricky Steamboat being the Intercontinental Champion today?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Outside interference, yeah. In my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. And now, not only the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt must fall, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because Hulk Hogan, yeah, I am the cream. The cream of the crop. and there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage.
This is phenomenal.
Yo, watch it. I'm telling you.
Setting the scene, he has on a purple Macho Man shirt that's like a mock neck.
Dog.
Like, the neck on the collar on the t-shirt comes up to the middle of his neck. And he has a handful, his left hand is full of coffee creamers.
Yo.
And he's every time he says I'm the cream of the crop.
Nigga kept pulling another creamer out.
He stuck one in Eugene's pocket. Ridiculous.
But that's how the shit be feeling. It's just like, yo, it's like Macho Man promos after a while. It's like, where's the seriousness of this? You know what I mean? And it was funny because I saw Redman was doing an interview, and Redman, they were talking about how back in the day, like, them getting into the shit that they would get into, like all the fights and whatever. And he was like, well, the rap community was so like, it was so tight knit to where it's like you heard somebody had a problem with you, everybody was like, yo, you know, we kind of gotta.
Right.
And he was like, there was no, so-and-so a big dog, so-and-so a, like, motherfuckers would run right up on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Nas and them straight step to Pac. Like, nigga, what the fuck is all this about?
Niggas
no,
was
it ain't
coming to niggas' concerts.
that's what he was saying. Like, it wasn't no internet. There was no social media. So it's like, we didn't have that. So it's like, the only place I could see him is at when they do their show at the Apollo. We going down there.
KRS-One pulled the nigga from PM Dawn off the stage.
They was talking about that, yeah.
Come with me, nigga.
Remember, what's his name pulled up to the battle?
CNN and Junior Mafia.
And Junior Mafia. What's the Detroit nigga, No Fly Zone?
Trick.
Came to the battle.
The Shotgun Suge.
Shotgun Suge and
he said something about Trick. He walked to the
front. They started the joint. What was that? No, we battling. We battling OG. Damn. Like, nah, that's really how that shit was. Like, motherfuckers were really, you know what I'm saying? So now, that's what I was saying yesterday, to see them have this situation where y'all are like screaming at each other with your phones is just so strange. Now, Meek wasn't recording. That was somebody who was with him.
Okay, gotcha.
Recording. But 6ix9ine is like screaming at him like, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, this is, and like Ross said, why are you even associated with this shit?
Yeah.
Some Jones is just better left alone.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess that's what the whole thing you were just saying. Like, if you're not going to put the man in the dirt.
You're not going to go all the way. Just, y'all could just coexist. You could be on your side of the earth. He could be on his side of the earth. This is a 1 in a zillion time that y'all was going to run into each other anyway.
I think it's interesting that 6ix9ine is like just out.
Well, I mean, he got the Israeli guard with him, so he's not really.
They didn't look like Israeli guard.
Well, no, this is the B team.
The C team. Like, that looked like us. That girl shit.
This is the motherfucking C team.
It was a nigga with a fro hawk. It was an old Italian man. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Apparently, Create Music Group ain't got the same budget as Universal.
Yeah, but I just thought it was wild that like 6ix9ine's just out at a Thug concert.
Yeah.
Again, WWE cartoon, like how? Like, y'all have this whole thing where it's like, oh, he a rat, we done with him, you know what I'm saying, but
here he is.
Did you see the new song he put out or is gonna put out?
No.
He had like a clip of like a song that he did he did like a video in the studio or whatever.
He had the pink Balenciagas on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. He's still talking gangster shit. I'm lost.
It's just so crazy. Hit you with the strap. It's just crazy.
No.
But what's wild is though, he gonna do a bunch of streams and make some money.
For sure.
And that goes into the shit we was talking about the other day. Like, we really might have to like coon ourselves out.
It's there. Like, it's the writing is on the wall, unfortunately. Like nonsense is getting rewarded. And let's put this in perspective. Throughout the history of arts and entertainment, music and culture, nonsense has always gotten rewarded, but on a small scale.
Right.
Now the nonsense has come to the forefront. And that's kind of like the problem that I have in like the conversation that we was having yesterday, me,
like,
you, and Rob.
But just put it in perspective. Meek's biggest record, like his biggest record, is a number 6.
Yeah.
That's the Joan with Drake. Going Bad. Still going bad on you anyway. Excuse me. That record is 6 times platinum now. Yeah. That's a smash top 10 record that sold millions of copies. That's Meek's best performing song ever. Yeah. In the last year, 6ix9ine has a number 3, a number 7, and a number 1.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy as shit.
That just goes to show how much people support nonsense. And
Meek featuring Drake made it to number 6. Right? Danny on his own popped out of number 3 and then got Nicki and popped out of number 1.
Shit crazy.
It's nuts.
And there's a whole hidden like racial there's like a racial undertone to the 6ix9ine shit too, where it's like if you ever go through his comments and shit like that, like especially like when the trial was going on and he was testifying and all that, it was you would see like a lot of Hispanic people like, man, fuck them niggas and da and they would do it to us and brown pride, and so there's like a racial undertone to his support group to where they feel like, oh, it was a bunch of black guys that tried to like take advantage of this Mexican kid, so we banding together under the flag to protect him against. And I'm just like,
they're doing a documentary on Showtime, basically on this type, like, what does it cost to be a superstar and this, that, and the third, and basically showing like he was a genius, which we've never taken that from him. We said it from the beginning. He's an internet genius. He understands even this shit. When Meek, think about it. If Meek spits on you, allegedly, if Meek, you there and Meek Mill spits on you, what do you do?
It's go time.
It's rip some. In the words of The Rock, it's boost asses time. You know what I'm saying?
It's time.
In Danny's sick internet mind, it's like, let me go get my phone.
I'm gonna hold that
and I'm gonna record me snapping on him when he comes
outside.
And you see what happens?
Yeah.
All over the end. Like
you have real live gang members, gangsters and such talking about, man, Danny won that, he got off, and I'm like, well, what did he win exactly? The internet.
I started seeing that on Twitter the other day, like Danny won, Meek 0, and I was just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, like interneting is a contest now. Apparently,
it's gonna be an Olympic sport by 2050.
But meanwhile, if Meek fucking blow Danny brains out,
Meek's a fool.
You a fool.
You a clown.
Why would you do that? You knew he was trying to bait you. Why would you take the bait, Meek? Meek. Why would you fall for it? You had a higher purpose.
All them lunches with Jay-Z, you do this? Like, somebody the other day tweeted was like, take the 10,000 and then the like it was a thread. That was the first tweet. Take the 10,000. And then the next tweet was, because, man, Meek done had several lunches with Hov and I just don't know, man. Let's crack the fuck up.
I saw a thread yesterday. Well, it wasn't. It was one tweet, but it was a series of pictures attached to it. And it was like, now I understand why everybody was looking at Meek like this. And it was the picture like Ross looking at him. And the picture
Yo Gotti and shit. Like, it that internet shit is crazy. Yeah. To navigate it and really understand it, it's wild as fuck. Even like when you look at DJ Academics, he know what he doing. He tweets yesterday, yeah, I don't get into Meek Mill business, but I'm going to talk about this on YouTube. It's like, nigga, what? What? Like, the internet is a strange place, man. What was I about to say? I just don't know. Like, when it comes to Meek's career, it's just like, I've never seen one person who just is so super duper talented, but just keeps getting like marred by these nonsense situations.
Unfortunately, a time is going to come where he's going to have to smoke somebody and just go to jail for life or something like that, because it's just like the energy, it's so much nonsense like energy around him, and like the fact that somebody like Danny would be willing to play with him in that manner, he's going to have to prove a point at some point. Like my man's Heads used to say all the time, at some point you got to make an example out of nigga. Meek ain't made an example out of nobody yet, and unfortunately at some point he's going to have to, because they tried the Quentin Miller shit, that backfired. Everybody, because Quentin Miller admitted it. Oh, yeah, hey, I heard Meek and them beat you up. Yeah, no, they did, you know, at the Nike store or whatever. And everybody's like, why would y'all beat up Quentin Miller?
I still don't understand. What did they beat up Quentin Miller for?
Because they said that he denied the ghostwriting story as Meek told it. And he said, you making me look like a goofy and a liar. And when I see you, I'm going to fuck you up. Oh. And then they saw him at the Nike store in Beverly Hills and put hands and feet on him. But then he admitted it. But behind the scenes, allegedly, it was basically like this whole thing where it's like, yeah, we got the video, Quentin Miller getting, this is what Academics are saying, we got the video, blah, blah, blah. And if he deny that we fucked him up, we dropping the video. And then they admitted it, and then they didn't have another move. Why y'all putting my name in this shit? So this is the nonsense.
Yeah, I didn't really get super into that whole story or whatever.
Dumb shit, that's why.
But the Safari situation, it just is always some nonsense going on. And it's just like, just put out hot ass music. And like, I don't know why that's never the joint.
Babe, I don't know, man.
Drake had a very good line. I think it was on 5 a.m. in Toronto. He said, I'm the only one still known for the music, I swear. And that line is always like interesting to me because when I look at so many rappers, there are very few who were like, when you mention them, the first things you think of or going on is like their music.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Think about their shoes, their tours, their merch.
Like think about if I say Megan Thee Stallion, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? If I say Travis Scott, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? If I say Kanye, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? If I say Jay-Z, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Rock Nation.
Beyonce. It's very few rappers who just they continuously are just like you mention them and it's like, yo, he killed that Johnny. Did you hear him on so and so and
some music stuff?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like that shit is crazy how like. That's the problem to me, though, with the 24-hour news cycle and the internet and the memes and and all of this goofy shit. It's made us worry about all this extra shit that go on to where the actual skill and the reasoning in these people being in these positions kind of gets like overshadowed at times.
And the thing is, though, originally, like, music was always kind of like a stepping stone for people to do the other shit, but they still maintained the integrity of keeping their music first. You know? Like, Tupac was a excellent actor, but he was an excellent rapper also, and he still put out multiple classic albums.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's like, at some point, people have gotten away from it to where it's like, oh, all right, I did this music shit, I sold, 2 million records, whatever, and now I'm just doing all this other shit full time to the point where they don't even have time to focus on music.
Like, you be forgetting almost that they do music, because you be like, damn, I ain't heard nothing in this long. The funniest tweet I seen yesterday, the baby is charging $300,000 for a verse now, and somebody come and was like, oh, damn, that's why I ain't hear no new shit.
It's the only explanation.
I was like, yeah, $300K for a verse is nuts.
And that's a situation of, number one, somebody outkicking their coverage and then reporting that you outkicked your coverage. Because, fam, as skinny as these budgets are in rap music right now, the average new artist, even if it's a brand new artist that might want to work with you, even if he has a robust music deal, like a stupid deal, he got $3 million in the budget. He's not giving you 10% of the budget for a feature because it doesn't you're not guaranteed to go number. If I pay somebody $300, I gotta go number one for multiple weeks.
Right.
So it just doesn't. The math of it doesn't make sense.
The math's not mathing.
It's not mathing, and you're not getting that. Like your number, and I tell people this in a lot of scenarios, your number when it comes to music and booking is not the highest number you charged or the highest number you got away with.
How many joints can you get?
How many joints at that number can you get? Mm-hmm. That's your number. Mm-hmm. So if you got 15 placements at 150 and 2 at 300, your number ain't 300. Right. Your number is 150. Right. Or at best, it's somewhere in between.
I remember Snoop was saying he got $500,000 to do like a bar mitzvah or a private party or some shit like that. Yeah. It was like $500,000. But he was saying they were saying he normally gets $200 for a show. Right. It's like, yeah, Snoop's not charging $500 for an appearance.
He got $500.
Well, this was years ago, but it's like not I got $500 to go do this shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So how does it work? Can you explain that real quick? How does the budget situation work?
All right, so say a new artist gets get a record deal. Say it's somebody scorching hot or whatever. Say they get a $2 million deal just for numbers' sake. $1 million of that is going to probably $500K of that is going to go to them in advance. So they're going to get that in their pocket. Boom. But you have to pay taxes on that shit and everything, which I was thinking about this recently. That doesn't even make sense because it's technically a loan and you got to pay it back. Why the fuck are you paying taxes on a loan? But that's how Jenkins...
Beans actually said, knowing what he knows now in the Skinner interview, he would never no upfront
money. Because all it is a high interest loan. It's like it's like a predatory rate loan. It's like 37% interest or some goofy shit like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, so... your deal's gonna be basically broken down into 3 parts. You're gonna get $500K up front. If you a priority, you're gonna get $500K for marketing, and then you're gonna get $1 million for your album budget.
Okay.
So the marketing money, they gonna rape that. They gonna put all types of bullshit charges and shit on your marketing budget. Stylists, fucking travel, all types of shit, billboards, all type of shit. But say if something, if you got 10 billboards across the country at an average rate of $9,000 a piece, they gonna say they was 14. They gonna cut the check for the 140. Somebody gonna put that fucking 50,000 in their pocket, and you never gonna see that shit again.
Sort of like a change check when you go get a car.
Literally like that. So it's gonna be all types of, but that's gonna happen to you.
Trust and believe me, I did it with my cat.
Yeah, that shit is gonna happen every step along the way, though. You know what I'm saying? With the exception of the money you literally put in your pocket.
Right.
That's the only money that they're not going to finesse you on. So then say you got a mill to do your album. So, you got to pay producers. You got to pay engineers. You got to pay studio time. You got to pay for features. A lot of times what artists do now, they basically swap features. So that's why when Drake said on Migos,
niggas be wanting a verse for a verse. No, that's not a swap to me.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to do more for you than you going to do for me.
Right.
So I need 10 verses from you, which I don't need because I'm Drake.
Gotta bring me some sneakers or something.
Dude, you gotta come better than just the fucking verse swap. But a lot of times, that's what artists do. They swap verses, whatever. They, a lot of times these artists, when they finally do get in the studio together, if they got any chemistry, they'll cut enough records to do a whole album and then just spread them out. Mm-hmm. So like Lil Baby and Moneybagg Yo got like 10 records together, over the years that was created at various points. And it's like, oh, all right, well, we're gonna use this for this, put this on your album, whatever. So that's a way to get around having to pay artists. But then the artists still get they pub splits and they royalty splits on the back end, so it's still money being made. It's just no payment up front, or whatever like that. So it's like if you got $1 million album budget, which is super robust at this point, because you can get so much shit done for that money. Long as you staying away from the big ticket, producers and artists, like you can come in the black and fucking make money. You know what I'm saying? And be turning in your album in the black and make bread. But the problem is those are just example numbers. In reality, most artists is getting 300 total for an album cycle. 250.
I remember it was like a big deal that 50 got $1 million.
Well, but he got $1 million straight up front.
Yeah.
That was just money.
That wasn't the budget.
He got $1
million in a watch
in a pocket in an $800,000 watch.
Right.
That was just the.
I remember that was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, all right,
exactly.
so.
But that's because he was so hot at the time. The average, and Drake got $2 million at the time when he signed, but his back end was so fucked up for a decade that he's just now kind of like getting out of that. And then you see how much money he made the last 5 years compared to the first 8 years. Because you had the all right. So Drake got discovered by Jazz Prince, which is Jay Prince's younger, not the youngest, but like the middle son. Yeah, he takes him to. He was already on tour with Lil Wayne.
It's crazy when you look back to older music. He mentions jazz a lot. Me and Lil Jazz about the spaz. Can you keep up? Like he always was talking about.
He still be. Jazz is still a part of his business, but just not to that same extent. Everybody got reworked.
Right. Contracts can be recontracted.
Contracts got recontracted right around or before Scorpion. Everything got redone. So that's why you hear him talking. They just gave me around Views. I'm sorry.
I was about to say
everything got redone. Everything got redone around Views. So he gets discovered by Jazz Prince. Jazz Prince is already on tour with Lil Wayne. His dad tells him, yo, don't be on tour dick riding Lil Wayne. You need to come to the table with something. Tell him you want to do a label. He brings Drake to Lil Wayne. At the time, Drake was primarily a singer that was starting to rap. He go on tour with Wayne as a singer, singing the hook to Mrs. Officer every night.
Right.
So that's how he cut his chops. They had a fucking studio on the bus. They start recording, blah, 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 making records, whatever. Drake starts to hone his shit. Wayne is still Wayne. Wayne give him the fucking Wayne cosign when he felt like he was ready to be a rapper. Then from there, they start soliciting offers. But it was basically like the fix was in the whole time. They start soliciting offers to guarantee that Young Money, Cash Money was going to give him what they wanted to get. But it was never a point where he wasn't signing with Young Money, Cash Money. They would have literally killed him. They would have killed the nigga. And I've been told by music industry people it was that deep. Like, Drake deal fucked up, but like if he leave, like Birdman gonna kill his whole family. So he was just stuck. He makes too much money for too many people. So They solicited him to Warner Brothers. At one point, Jay thought he had a shot on signing them, all that. It was all a fucking farce. It was just to get the numbers up. So what they did was, right before he signed the deal, they created a sub-label to a sub-label.
Right.
They created Aspire Music Group, which was G. Roberson, Jazz Prince, Drake,
Was Tez
and
involved?
Cortez.
That's what I thought. Tez
Those were the
was in it,
four
yeah.
entities under Aspire. And Jazz was supposed to get like 26% of the label. He was supposed to have a controlling interest because he had the proof of concept and discovered the artist. And then the other three parties were a part of it. Then they signed to Young Money, which was signed to Cash Money, which is distributed by Universal Republic. You signed to one nigga who signed to another nigga who signed to
a bunch of niggas.
And that's bad luck. Like, so that's what Pusha was referring to there.
Yeah, Pusha wasn't lying.
No, he definitely wasn't lying. So through that whole process, when you start making, when you do $4 million on your first album, and then the fucking Young Money album do damn near $1 million, and you got 2 singles that go triple platinum, there's a lot of fucking money coming in.
Right.
But the problem is, Birdman is only set up to pay 2, maybe 3 niggas.
You already know, Playboy.
So
you know how this go, Playboy.
We're gonna prioritize the most important parties around this shit to pay. And something important to recognize is that at the same time when Drake is heating up and they had to sign Drake, Lil Wayne is the biggest artist in the world, and they signed him to a 4-album, $140 million
Like Lil Wayne still has another Carter in the tuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you got to give him 70 up front on that deal. So that's back to the half shit. You got to give him 70 up front. So if y'all just got 150, you just gave Wayne 45% of it.
Right.
You gotta make 80 M's last for 4 more years till you get to the next check. And you just gave Drake $2 million. All right, so now y'all minus 72 out of the $150.
Right.
But with that money, you gotta pay royalties. You gotta pay pub because y'all administer all your artists' pub and they royalties. You gotta pay for marketing. You gotta pay for music videos. You gotta pay for travel. You gotta pay for everything.
Right.
But if you spend the $150 the first 6 months buying Lauder jets in Scott Storch old mansion, it ain't no money to pay nobody.
Let me talk to you, Playboy.
Until the money generated from the royalties and all of that come in, but that shit is only a 4-time-a-year payment.
Yeah.
It ain't a micro payment, but it ain't $150 million.
Yeah.
So these motherfuckers was literally running a label with the 3 biggest artists. By the time 2011 rolled around, you had 3 biggest artists in the world on your label. But they live in advance to advance.
Yeah. Did you see Fab talking about Lil Wayne coming to do the feature?
No.
Fab was on Drink Champs. I saw the clip. He said that Lil Wayne and them, they wanted, was it 100,000 for the verse? I think it was 100K. I want to say it was 100K for the verse. And he was like, they wanted 100K for the Lil Wayne verse, and they requested 4 bottles of Cristal for the session or whatever. So Fab was like, all right, cool, we get it done, whatever. And he's like, in my mind, they gonna come through. We got champagne in the spot. We gonna be, he's like, they literally came in, Wayne did the verse in 10 minutes, and they took the 4 bottles and got back on the bus. Like, what the fuck? like, dog. But that contract shit is crazy as fuck.
Yeah, it's just so much, and the devil is in the details, and there's so much like fine print and like and who's indemnified and transference of liability.
I want to talk about it because and then we can go into Justin LeBoy shit because I know it's coming, but that contract shit scares the fuck out of me. I ain't gonna hold you. I'll be honest with you. I don't, I need to find a lawyer I can trust or something. I don't fucking know, but it's just that shit bothers the fuck out of me.
And then you have like a Migos situation where the lawyer that they hire
worked for the company,
worked for the label.
And the crazy part about the Migos situation is they was with Gucci.
Yeah.
And Gucci's like, no, I got 8 murders I got to fight.
Right.
Y'all going to go with my man.
He just gave him to his best friend. He literally gave his group to his best friend.
Yeah.
Here you go. I'm sure he still got an interest in him as far as like,
of course.
He made money because Gucci's a brilliant fucking businessman and he always makes money. And right now he has the single hottest artist in the universe, Pooh Shiesty, underneath his fucking banner. Pooh Shiesty just...
Oh, Pooh Shiesty's with him?
Yeah, he signed to Gucci. Yeah. So Pooh Shiesty just did 61.6 million on-demand streams last week. He was number 2 in the world. You know who's number 1?
Drake?
Yeah,
sounds about right.
With nothing out. With nothing out.
Left now crosses the crowd later still ringing off 45 million straight. That shit is crazy. Damn.
With nothing to fuck out. Yeah. So we gotta say the Justin LeBoy shit for later.
Oh, we do?
We got our guests here.
Oh, they're here?
Yeah, they've been here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just kind of like talked through it. Yeah, but they're here. The two Alicias. We're going to get them in here. We're going to have this quick conversation about entrepreneurship versus corporate America. A lot of jewels. Alysha Roebuck actually works for Nielsen rating system. So she has a lot of intel, and she's given us a lot of game over the years about like, you know, how the stats are contabulated and this and what they're used for and the power of having access to statistics for negotiation purposes and all of that. So we're going to get into all of that, and we're going to talk about the entrepreneurship aspect of us having a podcast and then other businesses at large. We're going to get to the Justin LeBoy shit at the end, though.
Yeah, I know you want to talk.
I'm burning up the talk.
You want to talk some shit?
Wellness Podcast 7, we back, episode 137. And as promised, we have some special guests today. We have some nice, beautiful young ladies joining us, the two Alicias.
The two Alicias. I'm number one.
No, please.
Introduce yourself, ladies. Tell our audience who you are.
His clap for
The ladies, thank you.
Who you are.
Them claps don't come out for no men.
Any credentials you want to state and your relationship to the show.
Hey guys, I'm Alysha number 1, and I'm a Libra.
So y'all real thing is the two Alicias?
Yeah, kind of.
Sure.
You'll get our vibe.
Okay.
All right, so I'm Alysha. So I'm born and raised in Southwest. I had more of a humble beginning and chose not to go to college and became an entrepreneur. And I'm a mom, so our lives are like really different. I have like a kiddie spot, a party bus service, an event space. Like I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I'm like, 24/7 on go. So that's my thing. And she's more corporate. So.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Alysha Roebuck. I'm from West Philly, and I guess we both kind of had humble beginnings. I'm from 48th and Westminster, so that's good.
Super humble beginnings. He's from 48th and Parish.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Parish murders.
literally, right? Around the corner. Actually, that's my grandma's block.
That's the danger zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, just saying humble, like. But so I'm from 48th and Westminster. She's saying humble, I guess, because I went to a private school. So I went to Baldwin, which is like elite private school in Bryn Mawr, K through 12. I loved it. Honestly, like I went to the neighborhood after school and I had my fun like running outside, and then I would go to school in the suburbs and be with like super wealthy people.
You like Franklin Saint from Snowfall.
Yo, it's funny because like the story gets told in so many different ways of like young people get shipped off to these suburban schools and like how do they fit in, and it's like I just love both parts of my lifetime, right? Like I loved the 48th Street, the hood. You don't really know what you're gonna walk into. The bus, I used to love SEPTA. And then I think also going to private school, you just learn things so differently. Right? Like I start to love things that people hate. I used to love it. I went away to school. I went to school in Tallahassee, Florida. I went to FAMU. I went to an all-black college, completely different from my upbringing.
Yeah, I got the drunkest I ever got drunk in my life
That'll
at FAMU one time.
Yeah.
I drank a whole bottle of vodka the night before homecoming with a friend of mine, and then it was 3,000 degrees at the football game, and the sun was just beating down. Went to the day after. Died.
I'm sorry.
FAMU gets wild. From what I've heard.
Crazy. Super
wild.
Via Anonymous.
But it's literally like so hot you can't even like you just have to have you just can't even navigate. So I'm sorry that happened to you. It was
my fault, but thank you.
You didn't know. Went to Tallahassee. I went abroad for like 4 months. I lived in Shanghai for like 4 months. Randomly, we got a grant to go. My last year of school.
That's dope.
Went to China.
Yeah.
So now I lead North America recruitment for a consumer insights company called Nielsen. You guys know them for ratings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I lead all recruitment. So she always says like I'm like the corporate version of her. But I think we both kind of like had these very different paths, and we've gotten to this really great place where I'm doing what I always dreamed I would do. She's doing what she always dreamed she would do. And I think our mission is to let people know there's so many different paths you can take to get where you want to go.
Absolutely. And I think that it's important for, for our audience in particular to hear that from female voices because we don't have a lot of female representation on the show, not because we don't want to, but because every single time we ask women to come on the show, they say they're going to come and then don't show up.
Yeah.
That was a big problem that we used to have. But
Oh man.
I thought I asked you.
yes, absolutely. And I was going to say I got to come clean that Alysha Roebuck was actually the one that kind of like positioned this conversation because we talk a lot behind the scenes and she's constantly giving us information and feedback on the show and stuff like that, which we appreciate and thank you. And I just thought that it was important to bring forth this message and especially from women that are doing it.
Yeah. I agree. I think, honestly, when we were on our way here, somebody was like, when are you going to leave that corporate job? And I'm like, why is that the de facto everything, right? Like, why do you want me to leave my great job
with benefits
in a pandemic? I'm like,
to go struggle on the streets.
But like, even not that entrepreneurship has to be a struggle. I think that there's just benefits to both, right? And I feel like no one explores the benefits. In fact, our photographer was saying, he's like, I feel like people are downplaying 9-to-5s more than they've ever done.
More than ever.
Yeah, and it's confusing. Yeah. Like, how do you get your normal services? Like, if there's no 9-to-5?
I think there's just been this, like the last 5 years in particular, there's been this 5-6 years now, there's been this huge push for, just entrepreneurship in general, especially from like, the black community. Like everybody's like, be your own boss, own this, own that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but there's like a balance to it. And it's like, and I think what a lot of people miss is that you can do both.
Facts.
You can have a great corporate job
opening one and then to open the other. I opened both of them.
Took a little sip.
No, I just opened it. Even though this one was open.
About to say,
and I picked it up.
Giving out at the Realist Podcast.
I mean,
I'm giving out Fiji.
I think people miss the fact that like you can literally do both. Like there's people that have a $250,000 a year corporate job and then have part ownership or full ownership in 7 different businesses.
Literally.
Because they're using their income to fuel their other opportunities.
Yeah. Or like you're using your connections, your corporate connections. Right. And funny enough, like people want corporate partnerships, right? Like if you're an entrepreneur, you want a corporate partnership, right? Like you want to get like confirmed dollars, you want a name behind you. So why wouldn't you want to get that from the inside, right? Yep. Like I think that it's super important that people find a way to better navigate their career, right? So I started working in consumer insights, like market research. So I always send y'all like the reports, like this is the state of the black consumer, right? Yeah. Because that's the work I used to do. I used to support Comcast and NBC. So I learned around like how does data help drive consumer behaviors, right? Like we don't even realize like all this radio, the TV, there's numbers behind it. It's not like, oh, my show got canceled because y'all don't like me. It's like, no, there's like data behind it to dictate how you can sell ad time in a block of time. And then you have to promise audiences. And so I use that kind of data background and I coupled that with career development, which I love, right? Like I love helping people navigate their career paths. And I feel like because I've done that in like 3 years, I got promoted to lead North America recruitment, which is also university recruitment, right?
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I never thought I would be here 3 years ago when I came into recruiting, right? And I think everyone's like, when you look back on the Black Lives Matter movement, like, what will you say you've done? And it's like, I'm creating opportunities for young people, especially people of color, to find opportunities in the corporate space, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that everyone has a lane, right? Yeah. Like there's lanes for everybody, and people don't think about what they want their lane to be. They want somebody to create a lane and tell them. And it's like, I don't know what your lane is, right? Like,
I think that's a good point that you make because I think a lot of people, kind of like go through like life and then like go through college, like kind of like not knowing and not with the end in mind. Like, like they just know like I want to make money, blah blah blah, and it's like but if you want to make money, you got to go into like. You got to either be in a kind of like a broad field that pays a lot of money, or you have to be so specialized into what you do that they have no choice but to pay you.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think my long-term goal is to help create curriculum for K through 12 around career development. Like, have any of you ever been taught career development in any part of like maybe like professional development in college, but like in high school, did anyone
I
experience?
went to Bartram.
I mean,
I went to Central, so I did.
Yeah, so, but like
main
even
building.
going to a private school, like they tell you like, let's help you find your major. And it's like, I see majors going away,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
businesses go away.
Yeah.
And so now you have a degree that doesn't mean anything.
I think the college curriculum going forward needs to reflect that everybody needs to have a basis in business.
Facts.
Everybody needs to
Yeah.
know how to market.
Yeah.
They need to know about management. They need
Yeah.
to know about economics.
Yep.
They need to know about like data trends, social trends, stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Exactly.
Because no matter what you do, that's going to come up.
Always.
You may or may not need algebra or
Yeah.
calculus, but you need all of those
Like
skills.
basic math.
You need to have. You need to be experienced in like literature and
Yep.
English and knowing how to
like
write
reading
business.
comprehension, right?
Right.
Like those broad
Exactly.
topics, not
I
like
feel like they teach so much stuff in school that nobody uses.
Useless stuff.
yeah,
Like it's so useless.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think that anyone really has thought about career development until this time, right? Like social media has opened up so many more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Like I heard you guys talk about it all the time. It's like you're a nurse, you work at SEPTA, you get a government job, and it's
Work at
like
the
you're set.
airline.
You'll do that for 30 years, and like
That's
congratulations.
what I was taught.
Yeah,
was
and
taught
there's
that.
nothing wrong with that, right? Like there's no wrong path, I don't think. But I think that now you guys are showing people an opportunity to be in podcasting, and you can do both.
See, you love your job.
I do.
I do not love my job. Like
Right now, you don't probably, right?
So it's like
Was there a time when you did?
Good question.
training was cool.
Yo,
I'm serious. It just
He's being
Why was it
honest.
cool? What
He's
did you
being
like about
honest.
training?
nobody was getting on the bus.
You know what?
Yo,
And
Working
it's just
with the general public will jade
It's
you.
difficult.
it's because even the whole situation with us trying to uproot the podcast.
Yeah.
Me and Drew was talking about it the other day. So I was like, remember we was on the show with the girls, and I was like, it sounds crazy, but at one point I was a real people person.
Yeah.
Like I
I
had
remember
the
you
party
talk about
crib.
that.
So it's like everybody was constantly around, and I used to invite people places.
Right.
That sounds nuts. Like I used to dare to be like, yo, no, we going here tonight. Come
Right.
through.
They was calling you for the vibes.
You see what I'm saying? And it's just like now I'm like I've become extremely jaded because of it. And it's like it's something where like we do make that move. I'm gonna have to like completely come out of
You had to come full circle.
the shell that I've created because
Mm-hmm.
I'm be like,
Don't talk to me.
yeah, like I'm good.
Why are you
Like
talking to me?
no, but where I'm from, SEPTA is like, oh, he worked for SEPTA. That's gold.
you see what I'm saying? And it's just crazy because I know it's there's no goal.
I've been to the top.
There's no gold.
Yeah.
He said the gold wasn't there.
I've excavated and there's no gold.
It's
There was no
goalless.
goal.
Like I at one point, I ain't gonna hold you. Like recently, I thought about like corporate shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like I never saw myself as like a corporate person. But I one day, and it was so goofy. I was at
You was
Nordstrom's.
envisioning yourself in suits.
I tried on a sweater, and I was like,
can I
yo,
be this
I can wear this
person
shit every day.
Yo, it's so much more than that.
Dog.
I'm crying.
But it's the truth. That's how my
your
mind.
entry
I was
into-
like, man, I'll get me some fucking duck shoes and little boat shoes. I'll be fucking cool. It's like they're gonna be big ass boat shoes, but still, it's
duck
like.
shoes.
But it for me, like she said, my mom was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Now my mom was all about education. She's a teacher. My dad worked for the post office. He was like, "Man, we'll put this application in and go get this job." Like, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
There's nothing
and,
wrong with that.
And it was just like even with my grandpa, my aunt, I remember like what it was like being around the way. Like she said, you get a gig at SEPTA,
Yeah.
old folks is like, "Oh man, you not pray for you." You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
he's,
I'm
he's a good young man.
I remember the first
doing
time
something good with himself.
coming around like with my shirt on and shit. Oh man, you accepting that? Like,
All this stuff
And then here come all the people. Let me
they
get a
rock
job.
it.
Can you get me in
Dog.
here?
They rock it to get the
Dog.
love.
Look,
can you get me in
there's certain
there?
people that's rocking it just for the love.
Dog.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I think. But where do you feel like that? So you feel like because, you know, you can no longer kind of like be that people person, you haven't loved it as much? Like what changed? Is it just the people?
the time committed to it. So it's funny. You ever hear people be like, put the same amount of time into your passion that you
Yeah.
put into your 9 to 5? Be like, man, my run 11 too.
There's no time.
My run 11 hours
Yeah, there
a
is
day.
no time.
So it's like if it's 11 hours for that, and then I
Yeah.
gotta put 11 hours into my
No.
passion. How the fuck? What I gotta eat? I
Yeah.
gotta. You know what I'm saying? Like so,
Yeah.
it's just not realistic. And you
Yeah.
get to a point where it's like, all right. I put all this time and energy into this, and in reality, for what?
Fair.
You see what I'm saying?
What's the payoff?
What's the payoff? It's like
What's the long term?
The money is it's okay. To me, it's not like there are sneakers I still don't own.
Fair.
I do not have a McLaren. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. So it's like there's a lot of shit that you just can't do in this certain place where you can do a lot more than most people, but that shouldn't even be the
factor. It's your life.
When I see people living a certain way or doing or having a certain style, certain type of home or certain amount of vehicles or whatever the fuck it be, it'd be like, why the fuck do they tell us that this is the pinnacle of success?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. And so I think one of the reasons we wanted to come on, especially in Philly specifically, is because people don't see anything more. And so they don't have anything to aspire to. Right. Even though we live amongst you, like we live amongst everyone. It's not like we are these like mythical creatures.
It's a nigga at my job who came out of training. He was in training and he like, you could just tell he really like loved it.
Yeah.
Like he really like.
And that's great
like
for
what you say, the vibes. Like I mean, like
yo,
the vibes.
Like he got multiple patches on his shirt.
I'm telling you,
he only got one patch, but he like added patches to the shirt.
Requested more patches.
Yeah,
and
he went and got a maid.
You can just tell. Like so, one day we was just like sitting there. We was like playing Madden. We was playing a video game, and he was sitting there. And I was like, "So you really love this shit?" And he was like, "Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's always been a dream of mine." Mm-hmm. So I paused the game. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he was like,
"So we can't play and talk."
He was like, I mean, like, you know, since I was a kid, like, I mean, I was like 4. I wanted to drive the bus, and I was just like, "Yo, your parents ain't shit."
No, don't tell that to.
That's a fact, though. That's fact.
That's a Dave
He probably he was getting on the bus with his mom every day, and he wanted to be like the driver.
He wanted to be in control.
He wanted to drive the bus.
It was like when I was 4, like, come on, man. Like
you thought you could be Spider-Man when you
I was trying to be a superhero.
I was gonna be Whitney Houston.
I watched Ultimate Warrior run to the ring, nigga. I'm 4, like, and it's just crazy to me where like that's like the.
But I don't want to downplay, because for me, I always say, you know, I've taught at different schools, and I think it's like we need to have more community days, right? Like it takes a lot for a community to exist. And so I don't want to make it seem like there's something wrong with those jobs, because maybe you do aspire. Maybe there's something that you do love about that, and that's cool.
It's nothing wrong with
It's an honest living.
It's an honest living.
It's honest living.
And
Everybody
some people
needs
just want to go to work and leave. And like, I respect that. Sometimes I wish I was like that. Like,
but I think in Matt's defense, when you have so much more on your mind, and you can see yourself in a different way, it can be draining.
You ever sit around? You've worked jobs.
Yeah, I worked at the Net. I worked at
you ever have like people you work with, employees, and you just like,
yes,
damn, I know I'm annihilating them on an IQ test.
Oh,
like,
yes.
And that's where it be sometimes where like one of my homegirls, she a teacher. She always like does the career days, and she'll be like,
please come.
I never go, but she always be like, why don't you ever come to the career day? And I'm like, you really want me to come in there and talk to them kids?
They would love you.
I'm gonna tell them from the jump. Listen, I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
my mom died. I should have went to college.
Like, you know, like that's just what it is. It's like, listen, it's 33 y'all in this room, 12 of y'all don't have a shot.
Wow.
Then we get into the next group. It's like,
Quick
listen,
math.
like, dog. It just is what it is.
Y'all gonna be doing life in prison.
It just is what it is. It's like
I had a counselor that was really talking to us like that. They didn't care about us.
No, it sounds.
Matt doesn't
it's not that I'm not as bad as what she's saying.
Matt don't love the kids.
But what I'm saying is, it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And realistically, my whole thing and my whole transition is when I started. You forgot, I've been in 13 years now.
Yeah.
So when I started, it was just a different attitude and everything than what it is now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about as far as people, as far as traffic, as far as just everything. Back, and all the old motherfuckers I know, back in the day when they was doing this shit, it was nothing like it is now.
Yeah.
You literally didn't have camera phones. Right. You didn't have cameras on the bus. Right. You didn't have, motherfuckers used to straight take the bus home.
Yeah.
It was no GPS.
Yeah.
They didn't know where the fuck the bus was at.
Yes.
Yeah, I did all my trips. Bus at the crib. You know what I'm saying? My old head Chuck, they worked down South Philly. He was like, they used to sit there and play cards, and whoever ran out of money got to take the 17 down the street.
Wow.
You out of bread, man? Go take the fucking bus downtown before they come in here looking for us. Like, it's just a different attitude.
But I think what I hear you saying, and I love it, is like your dreams have evolved, right?
See what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I think a lot of people's dreams are like back in 92, and it's like
you know what
there's
pisses me off so much? Nothing pisses me off more than when seeing people get a job, right? Especially like a job there or a job at the water department or a job at Pico or any of these fucking places, and they get there and they got their first year, right? And they post the shit on Facebook, post on Instagram, post on wherever,
right?
And they post a picture, be like 1 year down, 29 to go,
and that's your.
And I'd be like,
you're
bro,
now aspirationally
that's a
looking
bid.
towards 30 years here.
That's a bid.
Yeah, but I think it's hard. Like
I had this argument with my homie the other day, and not an argument, but like a discussion.
Yeah.
And I was like, they sell us on job security in America. And job security is bullshit.
Right.
It is.
It's scarcity. That's the term.
That's what
they're
it
trying
is.
to sell you on scarcity.
Job security is solely so that you show up.
Exactly.
And don't get on no other shit.
Yep.
Because I don't want you as a competitor. I don't want you taking my job.
I know you're smarter than you think you are.
And it costs more money to recruit somebody to replace you than to keep you here.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was telling him, I'm like, when you look at people who are successful, they don't give a fuck about job security. You know how I know? Kevin Durant will leave tonight. You think I'm bullshitting? LeBron will leave tomorrow.
And they've seen it work.
Every doctor in the country, every surgeon, them motherfuckers will be at Johns Hopkins, and they'll be at University of Penn, and they'll be. And I was telling Jules about the whole contract shit.
Yeah.
Remember how many companies you done bounced? It's just what it is. Job security is something that they sell you on just so that you be like, oh man, I got the job. Now let me not fuck it up.
You telling all my business and my jewels. Let them believe.
No,
but that's true. It's scarcity.
Because I have these conversations, I'm like, I play around all day, all the time. That's
you're
me.
A poker player,
I'm
so
a
you
jokester.
Understand
so
the
people,
betting too.
so people think it's like. I play around so much that people don't take it serious when I be talking. Yeah. And my man Jared, we was having a conversation. He was like, "Yo, when you get like serious and real, he be like, he's like, yo, this shit is like." And I'm like, dog. I'm standing there talking to right. I'm standing there talking to an older dude at my job, and the crazy part is, I thought he was older. Come to find out, we the same age.
Ain't that crazy? I
thought this nigga was like 48.
Wouldn't that be crazy when you think about
the job stressed him out?
Yeah, life is tough.
Life hit him.
And he was telling me how the guy got on the bus and they had some words or whatever because he was late or some shit, and he was like, yeah, the guy hauled off and he threw his cup at me. And I'm like, and then what? And he was like, I just let him go ahead, whatever. And I'm just like,
that's the end.
Let him go where? And
on the bus?
Yeah, he was like, he went and sat down. He was like, whatever. I know he getting off in a couple stops or whatever. And I was just like, I don't understand. And he was like, what you mean? I'm like,
where's the part where you bash his
you
head
stomp a mud hole in it? I don't understand. And he was just like, oh man, like I want to, but it's just, I'm living check to check, and where I'm gonna get another situation like this. And I'm just like,
that's
man,
fair point.
Fuck all that. Like, you're not compromising your morals and your how you see the world for a fuck all
but
that.
I think we're all like, I think all of us have probably seen people, like, I know for me personally, I grew up just seeing things very differently. Like, my dad has had 3 careers, and like, he grew up in foster care. He was homeless at 17 and like became a shipbuilder. Then he randomly started writing music. Like, he worked at Philadelphia International. I'm like, how, Dad? He's like, well, I met a friend and he said, come write music. And I'm like, and then what? And he's like, so I started writing music. And I'm like, okay. Like, I have gold records on my dad's wall. Yeah. Like, Dad, how did you? And he's like, yeah, and I decided like there wasn't any money in this long term, so I had to be a carpenter. And now he's a carpenter and he still writes music. Yeah. So for me, it's like, that's normal for me.
That just proves that like people aren't monolithic like that, and that you can do a lot of different stuff.
Absolutely.
But for whatever reason, on the whole, like black people are taught about go to school, get an education, get a good job, lock in till retirement time. Maybe you make some smart investments or something along the way.
My family actually teaches that. Like, my grandmom, she worked in a Shepherd Recreation Center until she retired. My father worked at the Pennsylvania Park System till he retired. My mom, water department, she's going to retire.
Right.
Like, they teach you, go to high school. I didn't even learn about college.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't learn about college until
go to
I
high
went
school,
to church
graduate,
and met friends
get a
that
good
went to
job. Work till you retire.
Work till you retire.
Buy a house.
Yeah.
And that's like the pinnacle of success.
I mean, not everybody that I know even own a house.
Right.
Yeah.
You might could get a pair of Gucci shoes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Gucci.
For prom.
Yeah, only for prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think I always try to tell like my students and everything, I'm like, you can literally do whatever you want.
You can do whatever
and I try to
you
like,
want to do.
And it's crazy because it's like, we all have had family members or just like people in our lives who have just shown us something different.
Yeah.
Like one little thing, like me going to school 30 minutes from 48th Street is like, it changed my life completely. And the roads are open, right? Like there's no like tolls, there's no like, you can't come here or else like you could just, it's free, you can leave. And I think that's the thing is like, we're so like mentally blocked in where we are. Yeah. It's hard to get out.
And it's funny that we're like that. On the whole, obviously, we're all for progressive people in this room, including Big Dan. But just on the whole, when you speak about just like black people in general, and then it was that, and then 2015, it just turned into like all entrepreneur, and it's like, like where's the balance? Like where is like the there was no crossover. It was like go to school, get a good job, lock in. Then it was like, oh no, fuck that. The white man is teaching you the wrong way, and you need to own your own business.
It's sad though. I hate
but
that.
I don't know that it's not necessarily. I think there's extreme ends of the spectrum, right? But then there's also like that middle, and like so we've learned that like black people historically get paid less than, and everything's based against white males.
Correct.
So then there's white females, then there's like females on the whole that are not white, then there black and Latino, etc. Those male pay grades are somewhere in the middle.
Dogs kind of get treated better. That's just right in there. Like
then black women at the
your
bottom.
words, not mine.
Yeah.
But like black and Latinx women are paid just proportionally less, and they're promoted less. So like as a recruiter, right? Like I lead recruitment, so I'm always consistently looking at like, okay, how do we bring in more persons of color? That
was one of my questions. How do you address diversity in corporate America?
So for me, I don't say diversity because I think it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay. To me, diversity is easier, right? Like we're not sacrificing anything. We know that diverse organizations bring in more money. That's just data. Yeah. So to just find people who have the right skills and experiences, that's not difficult, right? Especially now there's AI. You put your resume in somewhere, we put our algorithm together and it matches you and I can just select from there. Mm-hmm. Diversity is easier, right? Getting you through the funnel, I can create inclusive hiring practices, et cetera, whatever.
Okay, so that's one. Run of the mill.
And I say that I'm being like, I'm not being very tactful in the easy. It's not easy, but there's a plan that can be put in place.
But I think it's important to recognize that in smart, diverse organizations, the groundwork has already been laid to make it where you can come on here and throw it out there so simplistic.
And I don't think it's like super, and that's why I don't want to be like, I don't want to oversimplify it, right? But to me, what people are learning more and more in corporations, especially in the last year, right? Like, you can find people of color who have the skills and experiences you're looking for. They do exist outside of HBCUs as well, right? I think HBCUs produce, 20 to 30% of the graduates. So what does the math tell us? There are 70 to 80% of people who do not go to HBCUs. So there are opportunities to bring in diverse people, right? It's just a matter of making the time and putting the effort forward to do so. And I think there's a lot to that, right? There's inclusive job descriptions, right, for females and ethnically diverse people. So there's a lot of steps to put towards it. I will say that there's an easier path towards diversity because everyone talks about it more, right?
Yes. It's at the top of the conversation.
Top of the conversation, right? So it's not simple. Sorry, guys. It's not simple. But equity, there's a way you can put forth a plan to achieve equity, right? We're going to look at all of our pay, schedules and understand how do we start to, over time, boost people up so that they're in line with the, equitable wages. You can put a path towards that.
There was a study in Forbes some years, probably like 10 years ago, it basically said that if you stay at a job longer than 2 years, you begin to lose your equity in that job position.
And I think that there's all kinds of data that's out there and it's also hard because like what companies are going to really tell you how much people are making, right? Like I don't know. I take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt to an extent, but I think that internally companies know what they need to do, right? And I think that companies are taking the time and they're putting forth the effort to do the work, right?
Yeah.
I think D and E are the easiest. Inclusion is the hardest thing, right? If you now bring all of these diverse people in and you pay them well, how do they align to the culture of your organization? How does your culture align to them? And I think that's the hardest part, because they say Black and brown people come to companies and they leave because they don't feel like they're being included.
Right.
And it's small things. If you're a caregiver, we talked about this earlier. If you're a caregiver, you don't want to have a 5 o'clock happy hour.
Yeah.
You have kids at home that are looking for you to give them a snack.
Yeah, if you're if you're Muslim or you have a specific diet and everybody in there, you go to a company function and there's all fucking pork on the menu.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that.
You don't think to not have pork. Everyone that was there before loved pork. It's y'all rituals to go get pork sandwiches or whatever. Now it's like, okay, do I tell y'all I don't like pork and then be the person that...
Then I'm the outlier.
Yeah. But then it's like, well, does everyone else just not eat pork now that you're here? And it's a weird thing. And I think that's probably the one that's most difficult.
Inclusion is weird to begin with.
Oh, don't go there. Don't have me getting kicked out.
It's not
Keep
realistic.
it PC,
it's like, it's America. So it's like... It's just not realistic.
Well, what's going on at SEPTA with inclusion? Like,
I don't speak to them.
He's like, I exclude myself.
Yeah, I like exclusion.
I exclude myself there.
They have like Christmas parties and all that shit. I don't go to them.
Really, what it is, I think, is that just being in a place where you're willing to make sure that people feel like they have a voice. And that should just be universally what happens at companies. People have a voice. It's not that you have to love them. You don't have to want to hang out with them. That's not what work is about. But that people can have a voice in the space that they come to work in. And I think that that's a fair thing to ask for, but it's not easily accomplished. And I think that's where the hard work's going to come in, right? You see people coming in like, I don't want to change. Why do we got to change? You're the new person, right? And it's like, but I'm a new person bringing new ideas, which will bring innovation, which will probably save us some money and get our jobs done faster. So I think that's the hardest part. I don't have the answers for that, right? I don't have the answers for inclusion. I don't really have all the answers for diversity and equity either, right? I think that what I can do is be that person at the conversation saying what it is, right? Providing context. What I love about my job is it's a global company. So my boss lives in Ireland. She's literally like, help me understand more, right? Yeah. And I think she's really been great because she's coming with a completely different perspective. Like, she's not in America. She looks at things very differently than I do. So she can be like, what if you tried it this way? And you're like, wow, if I just take myself out of it for a second, I can really
look
get
at the
solution.
whole picture, look at it on a macro as opposed to the fact that this is where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's diversity and inclusion, right?
Yeah.
Like, when someone comes from somewhere else and says, you could just like do it this way, right?
And a lot of stuff when it comes to like, work-based, like work politics and stuff like that, it comes down to like perspective, like, and how people are looking at stuff. Sometimes when you're in the middle of something looking out, it's different than if you're on the outside looking in. And just the perspective part of it can change how you look at it and how you view something. And something that you might think is this huge, big problem, you have somebody else come in and just be like, oh no, because if you do so-and-so, and
exactly.
and then they just go off into the fucking wind somewhere, and you're like, that's why they're the CEO. That's why they're the CEO.
Or even like, that's why their voice matters in this situation, right? Like, you see it happen all the time. Like, someone's arguing, you just walk in, you're like, why don't you just do it this way? And then you're like, bye, and you just leave. And it's like, yeah, I guess we could do it that way. That's literally why new and different voices coming in the picture help. Yeah. And if people just look at it that way, I think that they would understand that. So it's hard. I won't say that it's easy to get to the inclusion. I don't think any of the letters are easy. Yeah. But honestly, I feel like there's so much opportunity in corporate America, especially right now for people of color. Like, listen to me, y'all. It's time. Go look and find some opportunities.
Do you think that Black people need to more carefully like select their college majors and focuses and stuff like that, as opposed to like getting liberal arts degrees and human services and stuff like that. Job fields that historically don't pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then they look back and be like, damn, I spent 4 years doing this and I still don't make a lot of money.
They're probably only going to college because somebody wants them to. They probably don't even want to go.
Yeah.
It was almost shoved down my throat. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
What I do now makes me a lot of money, and I never went to college.
Yeah.
And I don't really regret it.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that that's important, though. Like, I think that it's always a choice. Don't go to school and, like, I have a really close friend. She's literally a leader in the financial services space. She made a decision in the, like, lobby of community college, and they were like, you got to pay $30,000. She was like, bye, I'm not doing this. Yeah. And literally, she is killing it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's not everyone's story, but I think that you have to make a decision and just be very, very smart and very present in your career. Yes. And I don't think that people think about being present in their career. They just want tell me the answer. People come to me all the time like, Alysha, tell me what my next job is. And I'm like, do I know you? Like, to tell you what your next job is? Like, I just met you. So I think be present, right? From when you're in high school. I believe that who I was when I was 5 has not changed much till today, right? Like the basics of who I am, my presence.
Yeah, your morals, your ethics.
I'm the same person, right? And like, luckily I had people that didn't silence me, right? So I think having support of people that can see you, right? Being seen is so important. Right. And that's why your community is so important, right? Not letting people mess with you. I was a young black girl from 48th Street going to a all-white private school, right? My parents didn't let them silence me. I had a loud voice. Well, we all got loud voices, so what y'all gonna do? You're not silencing my baby, right? Not that happened all the time, but like there are instances where people try to take who you are inherently and take that away from you.
People are trying to dim your light.
Exactly. So having your family be present for you until you can be present for yourself. But then you gotta be present for yourself, right? Like, my career was not, I heard you talk about your career all the time. Yeah. Your career was not like this linear thing where you're like, and I graduated and then
I've done it all. I worked in corporate, my first job out of college was credit card collection.
Right.
I worked that job for 30 days. It was so miserable. You had like the 47-year-old like guy that's like, this is the best job ever. Like, and he's like a recent parolee. Yeah. Meanwhile, I got a college degree and I'm just like, I don't belong here.
Life sucks.
And then I went and I worked for Enterprise Rent a Car, and then I worked my way through the management trainee program. I was a branch manager within a year. I did that for like 4 years. Then I went and I did corporate sales for Enterprise, and I got face-to-face business experience with CEOs, CFOs, and controllers of companies that I still use today.
Exactly, those same skills,
real life experience. I know how to scale a business. I know how to talk to somebody that's a CEO of a company on their level, because it's about asking the right questions. It's about positioning yourself, and these are skills that it's like, yo, I hated the corporate environment and the job politics, but I took from it what I took from it.
What you can from every single thing,
Absolutely.
right? Like, and I
that's
think
what every aspect of life. Yeah, you gotta take everything.
Everything's important. Yeah. You don't leave nothing behind. You don't leave the fact that you're from Southwest behind. No, Southwest shows you how to be on your swivel all the time,
like,
right?
This
looks crazy. I'm gonna go to the left.
What made you get into the kiddie spot?
I have a daughter.
Okay.
Yep. So when my daughter was little, I used to do her nails and her hair and stuff. And then I seen this show. Y'all remember Kimora Lee Simmons?
Yes.
All right. So she used to have a show called Life in the Fab Lane, and she took her daughters to this like crazy looking. You know how she's rich, so she went. It was chandeliers. It was fur rugs. I was all types of crazy stuff. And I'm like, yo, I want one of those. I'm gonna bring one of those to Philly. So when I finally moved back, I used to live in Kentucky. When I finally moved back to Philly, I'm like, yo, I want a kiddie spot.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
You can't just
randomly throw that in there.
I know the story, but I was like, he's on Kentucky.
Yeah, so when I moved back home, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. But it didn't just happen overnight. I was a single mom.
Yeah.
I had to move back home with my mom. I was in an abusive marriage. I had to get a divorce. I had like $70 when I moved back home.
Damn.
Like nothing. I was sleeping on my mom's couch with my kids, and I started working at UPS overnight, and then I started working at a daycare during the day. Then I started doing my kiddie spot on the weekends. I was grinding like crazy every day, saving every single dollar. My hair wasn't done, nails wasn't done. Just as long as my children were good and everything, I was just stacking my bread.
Time out. That's the most critical part of Alysha's story. When I tell you she stacks her bread, I be having to pull money. Like, dog, you have $10. She's like, I just want to make sure. I'm like,
I like to save my money.
She stacks her bread.
I don't know if it's a good trait though. Because
no, don't tell the listeners that. Stay with the stacking of bread.
Great Cardone says that people should store their money. He doesn't believe in the concept of saving, but he says that you should store your money with the goal that at some point you're going to have to bust a move.
Right.
And at that point, you'll feel so good about yourself because you ain't got to wait.
Yeah.
You can just take the money and just do what the fuck you need to do.
She's queen bust a move. And she's humble in a way that she's not going to tell you.
I'll go out with my friends, and then next thing you know, oh yeah, I brought another bus. So you'd be like, why? We just seen you. We just seen you yesterday.
No. Me and Alysha will talk for 4 hours, and we'll be like, all right, boo, see you later. I go on Instagram. I'm like, this was posted 2 hours ago. Like, did you post this while we were on the phone? Like, that you got a bus and I don't know. And that's the thing. She's super, she won't say anything. She moves in silence. Yeah. But stacking her bread,
I was always turned like that. You move in silence. Nobody want to hear about you. I'm about to do stories. I don't want to hear that. Yeah. You come here, you telling me, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm about to, I don't want to hear it. Yeah. I really don't, because I don't believe you.
Where do you think you get your entrepreneurial spirit from?
I would have to say that I went to church. Like on the weekends, my dad would take me to church. I'm going to church with doctors, lawyers, judges, entrepreneurs, governors.
I thought you was about to say you saw the way they was running the church.
No. Hey, the pastor had a new Cadillac.
That's what she was about to say.
I was just about to say the church name,
I seen him bring
and
it
now
back.
I'm not saying the church's name.
But the church was ran like a well-oiled machine. Let me say that.
Yeah.
You got like a founders hall, a banquet hall. Like they was getting their money.
Yeah.
But that was the way that.
But going there on the weekend, seeing all of those people with money, and then going back home to Southwest in my Section 8 house with all my siblings in that one house, and going to Bartram main building and seeing all of that, and then going back to church the next weekend and they all jazzed up. I'm like, yo, it was no middle. Yeah. I was like, yo, I don't want to live like this no more. Please. What do I have to do?
So you went to Kentucky.
So fast forward to Kentucky. No, give them sequential order.
I right out of high school, I ended up going to college, but then I found out that I was pregnant.
Okay.
I got married and he was in the military.
Okay.
So we lived in Germany, Kentucky, Kansas, we lived all over. But I didn't have anything. I had dreams, but I didn't have anything. So in my family, it's like either you gonna get a job or you gonna get married. There's no in between, no entrepreneurship, no nothing else. Right. You get married or you get a job. Which one you gonna do? So I got married. I felt for it. It was forced. Yeah. So now it's like I'm at the point where I'm like, I want to do what I want to do. I want to work the job I want to work. I want to love who I want to love and get married when I want to get married. I don't want nothing to be forced no more. Yeah. I want to move and go as I please. So I save my money and stay out the way. That's what I do.
Killing it though. I'm super proud of her. She's really.
So talk about all the businesses that you have.
Okay, so Sugar and Spice Kitty Spa is a spa for girls ages 2 to 12. So it's an actual location. Girls come there. We have lots of parties. We can bust out probably like 4 parties in one day at that location. And then we'll have mobile parties going. So at hotels and houses. And then we have the party bus going. So it drives around and you girls can get on. So that's my business right there. That's one. And then business 2 is the event space that me and my brother have. It's 3,000 square feet.
Damn.
3 bathrooms, chairs, tables included. It's crazy space. It's called space.
It's a real event space.
Yeah, it's a real event space. It's not no closet.
Where is it located?
It's on Rising Sun, 7135 Rising Sun.
Okay.
Yep. So it's like where the old Beehive is. If you're familiar with it.
And where's the kitty spot at?
7100 Rising Sun.
Okay.
Right.
So when I'm
on that northeast corridor.
Yeah. Within walking
call me Miss Rising Sun. Yeah. So if I'm having an event over here, I can run back and forth.
That's awesome.
She's so inspiring.
Yeah. I just like to save my money.
So what's next? I know you don't like to talk about what you planning, but what's next?
She gonna drop it when you leave here.
Hey, can I get the bomb drop? No, honestly, I just want to do more party buses. Just have a lot of pink buses in the city.
You just want to go more into
just
what
more
you're
in depth in the business, yeah. And I have a book coming out, like a kid's journal. So that'll be out soon. So little girls, because I'm all about empowerment for girls.
Yeah.
Like, I know guys are good too, but I'm all about empowering girls. Like, you don't have to just get married. You don't have to get a regular job. You can be an entrepreneur. You're beautiful. You can have confidence. Like, that's what my journal is going to be.
You ever think about doing like seminars where you like introduce entrepreneurship to other women?
Yeah, I would love to.
We've been talking
and that's
about
what we're going to talk about, right?
Well, I think that what she and I have been working on together has been that obviously, like, I'm in the corporate space, 9 to 5. We're working on doing like a high school age and college age tour, where we can share our stories and like our paths with young people. I don't think it has to just be young women, but I think young people.
Yeah.
And our goal is to start in the Philadelphia region. Obviously, COVID has been a really
real distraction,
really tough, especially because young people are just so tuned out, right? So it's really hard to reach them at this point. So we're working on some of that with different schools in the area, and then also she and I are going to be coming out. I don't even want to talk about like all of our business metrics because we don't have them yet. But we're definitely working on different things individually. She's obviously going to have her buses. I'm doing career coaching. I'm doing curriculum for schools now. And I'm developing really like a coach, train, lead framework. So like coaching is all about what's your dreams, what are you trying to do long term. Training is like, let me train you on how to get there, and then like the leadership aspect. So we're trying to do a lot of those things separately, but then obviously the tour.
Yeah, because we're friends, but we like, if you were talking to us separately, you wouldn't even know that we knew each other.
But it's like, I don't know. I feel like we live in very different like worlds, right? Like, I always tell her about my 9 to 5, and she's like, girl, I could never, like, talking to people in corporate environments is not my thing. And for her, it's like you deal with the public a lot more.
Yeah.
I've never actually worked in Philadelphia, like, since I graduated college. Like, we don't have offices in Philly.
Right.
So I don't know about, like, working with the public here. I've worked in New York for the majority of my career. Right. So it's, like, different for me. So we just have different perspectives on our day-to-day.
Yeah. Very different.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it's just very important. I'm so glad we had y'all come up here. It's just important I think that I'm a person that's big on messaging. And I think that there's a lot of, like, bad or misleading messages being given to like young women, black women in particular, about like their worth and like what you can do and like career aspirations and just being comfortable like living off of a man and not going out and getting your own money. So I think that is important that we use our platform as a conduit to give the message that you can be in two totally different fields, friends,
same endpoint, same paths.
Exactly.
The goal is the money.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
And like our photographer was talking about like partnerships, right? Like, when you are a powerful man, right? I don't want to get into I know your favorite guy is Kevin R. Samuel. I don't want to get into none of that stuff here, but I think that when you talk about those high wealth, high power guys who have busy schedules, like having someone that can understand his schedule and vice versa. I think it's hard sometimes when you are in these lanes, like just thinking about partnership. Your partner is actually like one of the biggest decisions you can ever make in your life. Right? Who are you going to have to help you navigate this situation in this life? So I think also just like sharing that as well is super important. Like marriage is cool. There's nothing wrong with being married, but choose somebody that's going to help you fill out your dreams.
Absolutely. Anything else y'all want to tell people before y'all get out of here? Definitely give y'all contact information, but any other info or jewels y'all want to drop before y'all get up out of here?
Nothing much. I feel like if you guys have any questions about navigating careers and just like thinking about your career, I do free consultations, and also I'm happy to just like respond to quick questions in my DMs. I'm ADR 63087 on Instagram.
That's where I know you from.
I follow you. Obviously. I really love the show.
It's registered.
I love this show. I'm such a big fan. I tell everybody about it. Such a big fan.
Yeah, since episode 1.
Literally.
We've been tuned in.
Yeah, I show all my friends, and like Atlanta and Tallahassee. They're
We
like,
appreciate that.
They're like, oh, I love how they talk. They think y'all
And
hilarious.
I'll go somewhere. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be on the realest podcast ever.
TRPE.
They're like, yo, for real? Like, when you going out? I'm just.
No,
I'll
we're
let
huge
you know.
fans. We're super proud of y'all.
Thank you so much.
Like,
Yeah,
we
we are.
really, really love the show.
Yeah, we were at the live show.
Yeah, we were going to go
Sponsored.
to the
Really?
the second one. Yeah,
Oh, we asked the question.
We were too, and COVID canceled it.
Yeah, we had enough.
already had our tickets,
We
right?
bought. Yeah, we bought.
Yeah, we got tickets.
I think the time when we went, we like
was-
it sold out the VIP. I think you were like, one of y'all were like, oh, I have tickets, and I was like, yo, can we please get them?
Yeah, it was
Chad
me.
was super helpful, and then it ended up getting canceled.
Yeah, it was
I felt so bad.
You said you asked a question.
Yeah, we asked the question.
It was dark. It
At
was
the
dark.
live show.
Yeah, we seen you at the live.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was.
And we had a great time.
I was high out
was
of my
fun.
mind.
It
You
was
guys
definitely
are so fun. Like,
Yeah, it was
you guys
fun.
have something really special. So
Yeah,
we're just
we
happy
want,
to be.
we got more of them planned if we can ever get back to
Y'all were supposed to go live together.
yo.
And that got checked up.
I hate live. Like,
Oh, what?
like,
I hate live. I'm not going on it.
yeah.
But we would love to see more of that type of content. I think I literally, these Monday shows, I like cook my meals for the week listening to y'all. So
Yeah, so we got a lot we're talking about doing and a lot
can't wait.
on the plate right now. We're gonna get into that later.
don't tell us what it is. We gotta
Yeah, don't drop no
Give
bombs.
Your social media.
My social media is at Sugar and Spice Girls. That's my business page. And then Miss Sugar and Spice is my regular page. And if you want to follow my event space and you want to have an event at my event space, it's Space Northeast. That's my brother and I's event space.
Dope.
Yeah, so look out for all my stuff.
We appreciate y'all ladies coming.
Thank you for having
I think we should expound on this conversation in the future as things develop, but I think this is a good place to start today, and we appreciate y'all joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we back, man. We just had our guest, two Alicia's,
We don't have theme music for the second part.
just bounced up out, and yeah. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that conversation about corporate America, entrepreneurship, blah blah blah, diversity, inclusion, and what was the other one? I'm retarded right now. I just got my mind on this popcorn.
Yeah, I'm eating donuts like it's going out of fucking style. The diversity, inclusion, and
Inclusion was the last one.
inclusion begins with a what?
The I.
It was the one that begins with an E.
No.
No, exquisiteness.
Exquisite.
It was something with an E.
Equity.
Equity, no.
Equity. It was equity.
No, equality.
No, it was equity.
Equity?
Yes. Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Why would equity be in diversity and inclusion?
Because you have to. All right. So the diversity part is you recruit the people of color, you get them here. Boom. Now you have to pay them a commensurate wage so that they stay here. So that's their equity.
I thought it was equality.
Now it's equity. 100% it was equity. You're gonna listen back to this and kick yourself in the ass.
I mean, shit's out. It's like
Tomato.
Yeah, tomato, potato. What you want me to say? I just thought it was equality. I thought it was like three things about like race and sex and class.
You were tuned out at some point.
No, I wasn't. I was listening.
This popcorn's really
They were nice looking young ladies that had a lot to say. I was listening actually. They weren't hit. You know what I'm saying? It was like, where's when you got a funny looking guest? You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to talk about. They were actually making sense.
I think they were our second best women guest. Morgan Cephas is number one.
Okay, Morgan Cephas. I'll go with that.
I give Morgan Cephas, State Rep Morgan Cephas, I give her number one.
So definitely not Devin.
No.
I like Devin. We got fine Devin. We gotta do a Where Are They Now? Fucking Devin.
Can you imagine if we had Devin and AO here at the same time?
Oh my God, man.
We get banned from the podcast airwaves all over the universe. It should be over.
Ew.
That was a good show though. Fucking rest in peace, Pike Street Kev. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I like the."
And he did the
craziness. All right, but we just
the baby on the Don't Rush remix. He
Yeah.
said, "Took me down the tall bitch. I took down the tall bitch. She had me climbing on." And it made me think about Pike Street Kev. Rest in peace, Pike Street Kev. Rest in peace, Devin. Well, no, Devin's not dead. I didn't mean that.
She's gonna hear this.
No.
She's like, "Man, I'm not dead, nigga." For the record.
No.
I'm very much alive.
I just said we got to get Devin back, so I know that was just reaction. I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
Holy shit!
But no,
man.
we got to do a Where Are They Now with Devin.
We have to.
Yeah, that would be lit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's 15 minutes, we got to do that. I'm with it.
I'm with that.
Yeah. Now, what else do we we have to talk about?
We just wanted to come back in, wrap the show up properly. We did have one more thing that we wanted to discuss, man, which was, two things. One, if you black in America, go see Judas and the...
I was going to sit down and watch
Judas
it
and the
last
Black
night, but I
Messiah.
cooked for Valentine's Day. I cooked, and I was exhausted.
Right.
And because cooking is the most draining shit on the planet.
I watched somebody cook last night and was tired.
What's crazy is the same shit you had, I made.
Oh, yeah?
I did garlic mashed potatoes from scratch, which is a fucking headache.
That's work.
I did Brussels sprouts. Of course, we eat some niggas, so you cook bacon and then cook the Brussels sprouts in the bacon fat.
Yeah.
It's really, really hidden. And I made lamb chops. So it was like when I seen, I was like, that's funny as shit. And I was like, trust me, that shit is exhausting, dog. I did that shit yesterday. But I did it, and I was just so tired afterwards. I'm like, I don't even want to watch this movie now, so I'm going to watch it tonight. But it's like, I keep seeing everybody talk about it. I know Fred Hampton's story from the beginning to the end.
Seeing it is shit.
I can believe it. I've watched a couple documentaries on him. So it's like, I heard and Daniel Kaluuya, can we do this?
Oh, man.
I saw people talking about it the other day. Like, I hate to be that guy and bring it back up, but it's just like, like Michael B. Jordan ain't.
It ain't that.
Nah.
It's levels. And Daniel Kaluuya right now on an artistic level,
I heard he was phenomenal.
he can't be fucked with.
Daniel Kaluuya is all that.
He all that, man. And it's like, it's the range of the roles. It's Get Out. It's Widows. It's Black Panther. It's now, Judas and the Black Messiah.
What's the joint where him and the chick tried to get away? Starsky and Hutch. No.
Queen and Slim.
Queen and Slim. Fucking Starsky and Hutch.
Fucking Junebug and Tanisha.
Real Sanford and Son. Like, what the fuck? I knew it was something. Queen and Slim.
Man was just minding his business, went on a blind date with a chick, ended up in a whole fucking cross-country chase.
Because she don't know how to
got his muffin cap peeled back because she don't know how to close her motherfucking chomper.
Yeah, but I heard Dan Kaluuya was phenomenal in that joint.
He killed it.
So I'm gonna watch it tonight.
He went to work. So
have you gotten into the soundtrack?
Not yet. That was part of my thing I was going to do on my way over here. I was going to start listening to the soundtrack. Then I ended up getting on the phone with my little brother, and that just threw everything out.
The soundtrack is only available on Tidal.
Is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
Because I ain't see it on Apple.
It better motherfucking not be. Ain't here for Jay-Z and his title games.
I felt like I typed. Oh no, it's on there now.
It's on Apple Music.
It just wasn't on there the other day.
I'm about to say, ain't nobody here for Jay-Z and his fucking title games. It's too late in the game for that shit, old head. Ain't you trying to sell the company? Ain't nobody playing these title exclusives no more.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to the soundtrack. I'm interested to hear a couple tracks. The On Your Mind joint with Lil Durk. Rich Nigga Problems. That sounds like it'll probably be decent. I thought Nas had something on here.
He does.
Oh, EPMD. Okay.
Yeah, the Nas record, the Jay and Nip record. There's a Hit Boy record where he rapping. Hit Boy is okay sometimes when he's rapping. Not all the time. Sometimes. So yeah, I'm gonna get into that. But
I did hear the J verse. I did hear that on Instagram.
But yeah, so that's the first thing. Check out if you black, check out Judas and the Black Messiah. If you're not black and you are an ally to the black people, check out Judas and the Black Messiah. Excellent movie. Very, very good. Second thing, Justin LeBoy has reposted his way.
Retweeted,
regrammed his way to a television show. Not a web show.
No.
Television show.
Yes.
Respectfully, Justin debuted yesterday on Revolt Network. It's the two Justins. It's Justin LeBoy and his BFF, Justin Combs, and flanked by some random Instagram thotties. And on their first show, they had Chris Brown and Kevin Durant. And what I want to know is, what the fuck are we doing wrong? Because maybe I just need to aggregate some internet content and just post a bunch of fucking stolen tweets and shit.
You were on the way there with the This Ain't Me page.
Oh man.
You could have rode that wave.
I ended up
Yeah, I don't know why you quit it.
Because I ended up in that black feminist corner of Twitter.
Yeah.
One too many times. And once they put me on a Homer Simpson meme, I got the fuck out of there. I said, you know what? Y'all got it.
Yo, you really do never know where the internet's going to take you. That's the craziest part about the internet.
They put me. I was in Spice Gang, dog. Once I ended up on Spice Gang.
What is that?
The fucking Facebook group.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's literally the worst Facebook group in the universe. It's like 130,000 dickheads all on there for the simple purpose of slandering and roasting you.
Oh,
and I ended up on Spice Gang. So, yeah, once that happened, I was like, you know what? I want to change my image. leave this internet nefarity alone.
How do I not be knowing about these pockets of destruction on there? And I just...
Because you don't follow anybody.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, but...
You follow 31 people.
No, I think I'm at like 50 on Twitter.
Oh.
But I follow...
I'm at like 50.
Yeah, no, I just... But
I'm getting crazy.
Yeah, shit is wild. Timeline is all over the place. But Instagram, I follow like 900 people. I don't follow none... And it's crazy because I was saying this the other day. I don't follow none of the junk.
Right.
None of the junk. So I was having a conversation. Shout out Marv, man. Me and Marv been talking a lot this week about the whole investing shit.
Yeah.
Marv's really heavy into it. And he's really like put me on to like a lot of different things. So naturally, shit he was telling me, people he was telling me to follow, things he was telling me to check out. All week this week on YouTube, I've been watching videos. And it's like already I'm starting to really understand playing a short position, playing a long position, what it means to be actual trading instead of buying stock, how to get yourself into where you're doing, like you said last week, the ETFs and the REITs and the real estate investment trusts and all these different things. And it's just, I've picked up on all this knowledge in a week of just watching shit on YouTube and reading shit. And it's sort of like how I look at poker. I was asked at one point. I've super got into it, really learned the game, learned the math, and understood the concept of different positions in the game. So I look at it the same thing with like working out. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Now I really, really understand putting on muscle, making this shit, doing this, whatever. And I was saying it the other day, my homie, I'm like explaining to him about the investing shit I've been watching. And I'm like, he was like, how the fuck do you know all of this? And I was like, I've literally just been reading and watching shit all week. And he was like, oh yeah, that's crazy. And I'm like, it's wild because our like community, our culture, we focus so much energy and time on bullshit
and nonsense
that it's like the same way y'all know all of Lil Baby and Jada's nonsense and y'all know everything that's going on with Sin and whoever the fuck she's with this week and what's going on with Moneybag Yo and what's the girl with the face? Yeah, Ari. Like you could just...
do know you could take that little molecule of brain matter where you put all that useless information and put shit that can make you money. Yeah. And enhance your quality of life.
And I was saying the other day, I don't follow Shade Room, Baller Alert, Saw. I don't care about none of this shit. So a lot of the things that go on.
Did the silhouette challenge with the motherfucking ventilate with the oxygen.
Yeah, somebody sent me that. I was like, this is wild. You know what I'm saying? With the tank,
with the tank on the side.
With the tank, like. But it's just I don't follow none of this stuff, so it's not on my immediate radar. So I don't be knowing that this is the nonsense page. Like, I had to ask you. I'm like, what the hell is going on with Reddit that everybody's talking? Like, I really don't be knowing. And
that Reddit shit is especially embarrassing.
It's especially. But just seeing the fact that you watch 2 weeks later, people made millions of dollars off of the same platform was just
niggas
like,
is on there talking about who a stepper.
Damn,
who a stepper? Who got Tanisha from South Philly News?
So like to go back to the Justin LeBoy shit. Like I was telling you last night. Yes, Justin LeBoy stole a lot of tweets. Yes, he stole content and all of that. But the man does work with the content. The shit is stolen. But he puts his all into
stealing
content and learning what the fuck the people want to see and what they want to argue about and what they want to bicker. And he knows at what time to put this out and to do this and to have this IG question and this story. And the man be working. You can't take that from him. He be working.
For sure.
And he's wiggled his way backdoored into a fucking television show where he's apparently bringing A-list celebrities on there to talk nonsense.
That's how you know that there's a investment from a network perspective into the product because one, you got the boss's son on the damn show with you. So if we wasn't going to support this and make it go, we wouldn't let him sit here next to you on this fucking platform. And then number two, you got one of the two best basketball players of the last decade and probably the biggest pop star since Michael Jackson, arguably, on the damn inaugural show with you. So that shows you that we trying to start this off on the right foot and get this shit going.
And they're talking about bullshit.
Complete nonsense.
Complete nonsense.
It's all social media fodder.
Complete nonsense, complete bullshit. There's nothing that's going to help anybody with. You're not going to pick up any information from the John I saw. He asked Chris Brown, "What's the first text you send out to the new bitch that let him know you done with the old bitches?" And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Like, how did you even think of this question?
Like, all the shit you could ask Chris Brown, like, this is what the fuck you can. And it's just like, yeah, it's garbage. It's complete nonsense. But he has a platform and he has a fucking window that's open and people go and pay attention to the shit. So my question is to, like, basically myself and to you and to us and just everybody else who's a content creator, everybody else who's trying to be in media or entertainment is like, do you completely sell your soul and like next week we fighting chickens? In the, you know, because we can
fight some chickens.
We can fight some chickens. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like we on complete nonsense. Like the camera cut on next week, we fighting chickens. I got on a leather vest with spikes like Legion of Doom.
And I got on a Lucha Libre mask.
Just doing complete nonsense. Because it seems like at times the nonsense does get rewarded in the short window.
Yes.
We're not going to remember the nonsense in 5-10 years.
No, absolutely
Drake
not.
says, again, I say it all the time, Jay-Z and Drake
Got
got
a line for everything.
Drake says, let's give it time. We'll see who's still around a decade from now. And that's real.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's how you kind of got to look at it. Like, slow progress is progress.
Yes.
I had somebody the other day talking to me about, like, the whole weight loss situation. And it's just like, because she was like, I'm going to start a diet. I'm going to do this diet for 10 days. And I'm like, leave that alone. Yeah. And she's like, what you mean? I'm like, dieting for 10 days means nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing. You got to make a lifestyle.
If you're going to stop smoking crack for 10 days and smoke crack in 2 weeks, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like this.
I ain't going to smoke no crack till my birthday.
Like, you see what I'm saying? It's
get
like
some special crack that I'm going to save.
It's like this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you want to change your whole entire output, your whole entire stance on life, because you can, and it's crazy because I've seen a lot of people now have weight loss surgeries and then start selling weight loss teas and fit shit, and it just be like, I would never do that because that's just this. One, it's a lie.
You
Two,
have no integrity.
You have no integrity. It's just bullshit. But I watched a lot of people do this.
It's the blueprint. It's all. That's a business model that's already laid out.
You know, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you know, getting rewarded in the short is cool, but are we really going to know what's up? Because what happens in 2 years when you're not doing this and you on the whole next wave and you're doing? And I've watched that from a lot of people. This podcasting thing from us isn't a fad.
Right.
We legitimately
do this shit.
Let's just keep it a buck. We brought this shit to the forefront for real in this city. So it's like, yeah, no, this isn't like some shit we just on because it's popping or you know whatever.
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
legitimately love it.
No, like we legitimately got to the point where we sat down and was like, yo, we want to be media personalities.
Yeah.
C Diddy and Matt Makes Me Sick wants to be like. That's what it is. And I'll be honest and I'll say it on here, like I've kind of gotten at myself. Like we've never really taken this shit 100%.
Right.
For as good as it might seem, the content that comes out for y'all, I know y'all like, oh man, I love the show.
We could be doing more.
We could be doing way more. We could be doing a lot more. And I think that's where you and me have gotten in the last couple of weeks. The conversations that me and Chad have had off air is like, yo, it's time to, we're at the precipice. It's like we're either going to go 100% and go full throttle or
just go back to our lives.
You know, I'm the poker rooms is open. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's where it's just like, all right. And I look at media nowadays, right? Even yesterday, Rod sent that picture of Justin LeBoy with Rihanna from a couple years ago. Like, no, he got to have some connections and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, even that. He got a picture with Rihanna in L.A. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not running into Rihanna at ShopRite on Parkside. It's just not going to happen.
At Dwight's on 44th and Lancaster.
Yeah, I was down there getting what's the joint on 22nd Street? The cakes. What's the joint on 22nd Street? Damn. Denise's. I was at Denise's. I seen Rihanna coming out Denise's like that. Like, no, it doesn't happen like this. You know what I mean? So you want to be in a place where media and entertainment thrive. Yeah. And they run hand in hand with everything else. Right. So it's like, yeah, that's where we've really been at in these last couple of days. Like, yo, we might have to take this show on the road. Yeah. And the reality of it is like, I watched Beans and Oskino. Shout out to Nikki and shit, because it was on her joint, NGTV. Vicky. Nick. The N in the NGTV just always, I said that the other day. Vicky at NGTV. It was on her platform. And I watched the joint, and Beans was saying it on there. It was like, yo, at one point, we was going out every night, 4 or 5 different clubs. You would go out, Eve, Jill Scott, music.
The Roots.
Could you imagine Beans running into music? how like, with AI at the tuck, like.
At Blue Zet.
Yeah, at Blue Zet out of all places. But that's really, what it is. And it's like, think about it. I was saying it the other day. I got 5 different Beans stories. Like Jones, where I've ran into Beans and had actual interaction and just silly, funny shit. Yeah. Rod got 100 Bean stories. You got Bean stories. Rod straight said Bean straight turned on the stove in the club.
Start cooking.
Cooking the grilled cheese sandwich. Beans was crazy. So it's just like, you got these stories because these people were out and about.
Yeah.
These people now don't be out and about.
Fuck no.
You're not just running into no Sixers, just out and about. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like other cities, it's like, yeah, you can go here and see this person, go there and see these people.
You ain't seeing the Sixers nowhere but Barclay Prime and Recess. That's that.
Right.
Ben Simmons fucking learned the hard way. He was out every night when he first became a Sixer. They was like, man, you better stop going to that shit. That motherfucker don't go nowhere no more.
Yeah, but I listened to Ron on Just Another Motivational podcast. I listened to the episode finally, and it was like he was saying like when he got the Uncut Atlanta situation popping, it was like I was just going out.
Yeah.
Just out and about. And it's just like, yeah, we really don't have like especially when it comes to media. I'm not talking about that type of shit, like bar shit. But when it comes,
the bar shit is finished also.
Here.
It's over.
When it comes to media though, we don't have like media places and shindigs and things that go on. And, even when it goes down to like what the Rock Nation brunch would be considered, we don't have that type of shit here for media. So it's like you got to do one of the two. Not fuck with it or go somewhere else. And that's what Beans was alluding to on there. It was like everybody on from Philly and everybody love Philly, but they got to go other places to make it pop. And he was like, I think we could change that. And it's like, yeah, we could, but not today.
Yeah, fuck. It'll take 19 years of work.
It's going to take a dub. You know what I mean? Like, so I look at the Justin LeBoy situation, like, it is a little like, damn, like, what do that mean?
Where I look at it is the messaging aspect of it. It's kind of like where you was going, like, what does this mean? Like, when you see somebody that like literally just aggregates internet content, like he doesn't show his face. He's not talking. He didn't make no media rounds. None of that.
Like he never even showed his face.
And he ends up with a television show.
That's crazy.
That's crazy to me because it's like I know the work that Jesus and Mero put in to get on Showtime. They had to fucking do a podcast. Then fucking do the Bodega Boys hustle and all that shit on the side. They had to sell a zillion t-shirts. They had to put the Bodega Boys cruise together for fucking 5 years. Take a bad deal at Vice, get out of the bad deal at Vice, and then go to CBS Showtime.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's like an 8-year fucking process. So it's like, so when you see somebody just go and just like on an 18-month run and just fucking basically do what they did, and he ain't as good as them, and their shit is original, and they literally have like a pop culture commentary show the same way like how people analyze clips on like sports shows, they brought that to pop culture to where it's original and it's their shit and they're hilarious and funny and all of that shit. And it's like, damn, so now you telling me that Justin LeBoy is on the same level as Jesus and Mero? That shit don't fly with me. Like that shit is goofy to me. More power to the man for doing what he did. He's just working his play. But for the people that are empowering him to work his play, it's like, damn, like, can y'all do a little bit more work than just, oh, he got 2 million followers, let's do a show with him.
That's really what it is.
That's all it is.
That's what it comes down to now. It's crazy as fuck.
He got 2 million followers, let's do a show with him. Like, fuck all these others. And this ain't about TRPE because it's a zillion other shows out there. It's shows in Atlanta and Alaska, Utah, whatever the case may be, that are making waves in their own right. And they're being overlooked for a show based around like internet fodder and messiness. And that shit is like dumb shit to me.
Yeah. I mean, but that's our culture though. And it goes back. I think I've said it on here before. Who you are matters more than what you're doing. Absolutely. In fact, you've said the messenger is more important than the message. So it's like you look at like podcasting a couple years ago, it was really about like content. Yeah. Like, what are you saying? What do you have to say? Now, podcasting is Oh, Mike Tyson got a joint.
Yeah.
Oh, T.I. got a joint.
Who were you before you had a podcast?
Jeezy got a joint. Yeah, and that's really what it has turned into. It's literally, who were you before this?
And I particularly don't appreciate the fact that the celebrities hijacked the podcast movement, because it was a grassroots thing that was created by the people, by people that were in media and people that even weren't in media that wanted to break into it as a way of doing something alternative than going to work for a regional radio station and making $22,000 a fucking year in order to do it. People said, you know what, I'll invest in my own platform, fucking scale it, build it up, and let it become whatever the fuck it becomes. Whether it becomes financially solvent or it just pays for itself, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be able to go out here and get my message out to a group of people that understand me, that want to hear what the fuck I got to say. And then at some point, all of these celebrities fucking hijacked the fucking podcast movement once they saw Drink Champs worked, and they like, oh, Nori wasn't like a diamond. He wasn't Jay-Z in his era. He wasn't Tupac. He just was Nori. And it worked for him. Oh no, we could do this shit.
And they got fucking couple $1 million deal.
Multi-million dollar deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At that point, it was like, oh no, every little dirty rapper from the 90s crawled from under a rock like, oh, I'm getting me a podcast.
Yeah.
So it was basically like, it's become low-hanging fruit to where it's like, they've cheapened it so bad. The same way like OnlyFans was for people in the sex industry. They popularized OnlyFans. And then all these celebrities got on there, hijacked the movement, and now all the girls that were legitimate sex workers that were on there trying to make their bones gotta do all types of goofy tricks and all this nonsense to make a buck, when Bella Hadid can just jump on that motherfucker, post a bunch of fucking random pictures from Instagram, from Instagram showing her thigh and make $2 million in a day. And it's like, God damn, like the common person is not allowed to have nothing to themselves without the celebrity fucking.
I think that's the bigger issue with
driven through the fucking the town. You know
I think that's the bigger issue with this shit. Now that I'm really looking at the Justin LeBoy shit, it's like, damn. Because there are a lot of content creators who could do an actual show.
A real show that's about something, that has a structure, a prose, a plot, a message.
Yeah.
They didn't go to, even as ridiculous as T.I. is, they didn't go to T.I. and say, hey, you already got a show that's working. You got 300,000 subscribers. You're doing between fucking 250K to 1 million downloads come do your show with us. They didn't even do that. This nigga got 2 million followers. We going to create a show around him and throw some.
Because he got the internet going crazy.
He got the internet going crazy every day. So we going to fucking build a show around him.
I mean, sounds ridiculous, but that's really where we at.
That's where we are.
And it's to me, it's not disheartening or no shit like that. Because
it's more annoying than disheartening.
Why do you say annoying?
I think it's annoying because there are people out here doing the work when it comes to media, podcasts, webcasts, web shows, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, you take a person that's not even, I can see if he had a podcast already.
Right.
And then they say, all right, you got this podcast, you got a following, we're going to partner your following and your podcast with our network to make it bigger. That's different than if you just take a nigga that's not doing anything, or you're not even speaking.
Right. Yeah.
It's annoying.
That part for me is a little wild. The fact that he the fact that they had to go on like a fucking Guess Who mystery joint.
He didn't have to talk to Good Day New York. He didn't have to talk to he didn't have to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Television show. That's a little wild to me.
That's crazy.
Like, when you peel back the layers on the shit, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Congrats to him for securing the bag, because at the end of the day, I don't necessarily even know that it's him that was the driving force behind the shit. I'm pretty sure it's some executive at Revolt that's like, I got it. Like, he's at a pitch meeting and he's like, with the two Justins, sprinkle some Instagram thotties around like parsley, celebrity guests, ask dumb shit from dumbass questions from the audience.
Yeah.
We got a show.
Yeah.
So he's the end result. Him in the show is the end result of it. But I don't think that he was going around like pitching this, because I think he's just doing what he did, just however he just was doing it. Like, he just organically kind of did it, and it took on a life of its own, because this ain't the first time he got hot on the internet. This is the most sustainable and the biggest he's got on the internet, but he was known for a bunch of shit. He was selling T-shirts or whatever back in the day on the internet was popping. Because, again, you're from New York, 11 million people. People like you. All right, cool. We're going to support Justin doing this T-shirt shit. Then he had the Demon Time shit. He got a write-up in, like, the New York Times or some shit for the Demon Time shit.
Damn.
Boosie did the same thing. They kicked him off the internet. The New York bias is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you friends with Kevin Durant? But we're going to do a write-up on you. You're helping everybody get through COVID. That was the title of the article.
Wow.
This shit is nuts. We live in bizarre land, yo.
Yeah, I ain't know that. That's fucking crazy.
See what I'm saying?
Damn.
So when I say it's annoying, like, that's what I mean.
I see.
Like,
Yeah, I get it.
it's annoying.
The
Because what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. Boosie got kicked off IG for the same shit this nigga got a write-up in the New York Times about. That's wild.
we might need to do a show.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it now.
Yeah.
Like, we might have to do like an actual Slap. Shout out Slap. I was talking to him the other day. He was talking about doing a talk show. It's like, I don't know.
TRPE presents.
That real talk, like, and that's honestly, I was telling him, like, that's where I want to be, like, doing our own production of just everything.
We can do it.
It's like, you know, we just gotta we gotta put the time in.
Yeah, we gotta put the time. We gotta put the plan together, put the time in, and just forge forward. It'll happen. It'll come together.
It's no way around it. The content is too good. The opinions are too good. The banter's too good, and the affiliations are there. The connections are there. It's
We just gotta work them.
Yeah, we just have to start taxing the fuck out of them.
Yep.
But I'm definitely not mad at Justin LeBoy for doing, you know.
He's not at fault here. He's collecting.
If ESPN called me tomorrow and be like, "Yo, we want you to replace Skip and Max," Stephen A. and Max, it's like, okay,
see you tomorrow.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this. Like, real talk. It's like I'm going full screaming A on there. So yeah, it just is what it is. Like, the position or the opportunity get put in front. Look at Meek Mills, to bring the show full circle.
Yeah,
it was probably 12 or 13 rappers who we all thought was gonna blow before Meek. Meek put the work in, and he got
chose.
It just is what it is. So I got nothing else.
Me neither. Yeah, man. Take care of yourselves this week. We're off next week.
We won't be here.
We both won't be here, so we'll be off next week. Maybe we'll try to sneak in a show before the end of the week. I don't fucking know. But other than that, man, take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Philly's going crazy with the murders still. It's just like
the murders and the traffic.
Yeah, we gotta get it together, man.
We had a day the other day with 8 murders.
That's disgusting.
That situation the other day with the shooting at the gas station. I told you I went past it, and I just was like, when I came back past it, the gas station was open, and people was getting gas, and people was
Metro booming once more.
And I was just like, how are we this desensitized? Like, somebody got murdered at this gas station a couple hours ago.
Ain't no thing.
And motherfuckers is back chilling out front of the joint, and I'm just like, damn.
Have we learned nothing? No, we haven't.
It's just shooting at a gas station is just wild to begin with. Yeah. Because it's like, what if this blows up?
Oh, before we go, get well to Saha the Prince, man. Somebody tried to kill him the other day on the highway in Atlanta, the rapper.
Kanye, man?
Yes, man. He said that he put a long post on his Instagram story. He said he was driving on the highway. Somebody, like, sprayed his car up with gunfire. He tried to do everything he could to get away from him, get off the highway, do this, do that. They followed him to the point where he crashed his car into a tree and flipped it. They got out the car, shot the car up again, and then left. Luckily, he survived.
Wow.
Yes. Somebody tried to assassinate Saha the Prince in Atlanta.
Jeez.
Yes. So, everybody out there, man, be safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of your people, man. And, just stay out of trouble, yo.
Yeah, damn.
Crazy.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I ain't know that. Everybody be safe, man. We out of here.
Peace.